Live. What's good, everybody? It's Game Talk Overtime. How's everybody doing today?
I'm doing good, sir. I'm doing good. Still waking up.
Yep.
I have diarrhea.
Too much information there, Don G.
I'm eating food.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, I think I need a couple more pieces of bacon, man. I'm starving. Ugh.
All right, it looks like we're doing good so far. All right.
Cool. Of course, that's how it always starts, and then it fucks up, but, you know, whatever.
Oh.
Whoever it is,
Yeah.
I don't care. AMD, OBS, Windows, fix your shit.
Dude, and it doesn't it suck? Like, as soon as like Windows fixes their shit, something bad happens with OBS.
Yep.
And then when OBS fixes their shit, Windows breaks their shit. It's like you can never get an application to run at 100% for a long period of time. It's always like maybe 8 hours tops.
Mm-hmm.
You're not wrong.
I've had OBS disconnect on me, but it didn't stop streaming. It says it's still going.
Yeah.
That's what was weird about this time is I have never once seen a Windows notification that OBS is disconnected. Ever. I mean, OBS will disconnect and it'll say my kbps is 0 or something like that, but never have I seen a Windows notification. So I think they changed something in the latest update, or one of them.
Yeah. All right, I'm looking at the stats for the window.
But at least,
See if-
so far at least, my PC isn't crashing, so that's something.
Volume normalized, fine. All right, so you are in 17 drop frames, but it stopped, so that's good.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
That's got to be, it's because it's not dropping in OBS, that's got to be,
Either
YouTube.
YouTube or your internet. One of the two. The codec says you're using AV4. Or unless that's YouTube's codec, that is... Yeah, okay, yeah, that's YouTube's codec. Because the video itself is running in HH62? The fuck? Alright, whatever. YouTube has some crazy shit. I don't even know what the half this shit is.
Oh, right.
I just know what AVC is and MP4. But yeah, you're at 17 dropped out of over 8,000 frames, and it looks like it's holding steady, so that's good.
That's good. Well, we'll see.
I'll just keep this up so I can. I don't want to see.
Hey man,
shit
it wouldn't be
dropping.
Game Talk without some technical difficulties, right?
Yeah. I mean, the full first season with when Rags was around, like our shit was dropping all the time.
Your mom. Got him.
Oh man. Why is it?
All right,
reset
Brent, now
this
make
shit?
your point about age of consent.
Jesus Christ, Blue.
I know,
All right,
right?
so what was the age gaps again? It was 16 and 18, right? Is what we were talking about.
Well, yeah, that's
The
the.
differences.
That's what Pete made the argument for, 16. So
Well, I say 16 just because I think it's a nice round number. It's right at the point where you're transitioning from being basically a kid to being an adult. I mean, I could just as easily see 18, but I think they should pick one age.
I mean, I get it. Because I've been, off and on my own since I was 15. Majority of my time I've been on my own since I was 15. So I get what you're trying to say. So I mean, and if I was to look at this objectively, I would have to say that the same rules could apply for a female, which that would be correct. That's the correct answer.
it doesn't though for
No, it does
most
not.
laws.
I think if you're old enough to be out on your own, or old enough to fight for our country, like it's still, to me, like it feels weird. You know what I mean? Like I'm still gonna be like,
I still
but she's
think
only
it's
16.
bad.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like even though I've been on my own since I was 15, I still feel like 16 is still too young. Even though, and it's the hypocrite part. I had sex younger than that, but I'm saying, as someone, like, even back then for me, like, I don't even think I should have experienced it at that age, tell you the truth. Like, yeah, it was fun when I was younger, but like when I look back at it, like did I learn anything from it? Did it
Well, and this
affect
is
me
one of
in
the
a
big
profound way? Not
problems.
really.
I mean, I look back at my first time and it was like, wow, it was terrible.
Yeah, but that's that is what it is, right? The biggest problem with this whole thing is like nobody can tell somebody else when they're ready for something like having
Right,
sex.
right. Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah.
And we do our best to
Yeah.
just pick an age that seems like it's a reasonable, set point for the general population. But I mean, as with everything,
But I
'cause, yeah,
guess
there's
that would be the thing though. Like if it was the general populace that went through the same shit we did as kids, then we would have a completely different conversation, right?
but then
A
again,
lot
but
of
go ahead.
I would just say a lot of teens are, peer pressured. I don't think I
Sure.
was peer pressured. I said yes to it. You know what I mean? Like, but was that right? Probably not. You know what I mean? Because I was still young. I was much younger than that, and I probably, now that I'm looking back at it, like I probably shouldn't have. You know
It's
what I mean?
easier to say
Because
something's bad when it's not in the moment.
That kind of
well,
happens
I
with
mean,
everybody, right? Like everybody
but
makes decisions that they look back on and they're like, man, I was way too young and dumb to make that decision, but I did anyway, and now I'm going to deal with the consequences of it. And again,
right,
that
but
ties into that thing where nobody can tell
yeah.
you whether you're ready for something or not. It's
I guess you
shit.
don't really know when you're ready. You
That's
know what
the
I mean?
thing.
Like, cause we always talk about like when we were younger, like
I mean, I understand that, but there's clear data to show that like porn exposed to people kids under like 13 to 12 has
Stuff, Earl.
a significant effect on them.
I mean,
Like, that's
absolutely. I mean, I agree with that. I was one of those statistics. I was
because
exposed to porn at a very young age, and I remember
I'm not
everything of
calling
it.
I'm not
so.
calling porn pretty banned, by the way, but porn like it is not like good for kids. Obviously, can't ban porn and all that stuff.
Right.
I don't
Well,
know.
it's like guns,
I don't
right?
see
Like
it as
you try to
I don't
keep
see
that
it.
shit away from your kids.
See, I don't agree with that. I think exposure
No,
as
like
early
there's
as
been a lot.
possible
There's
is
been
better.
a lot of studies showing that porn with kids 13 to 12 and younger is not good for them psychologically.
Yeah, but they say the same thing about social media, and it's
Yeah,
not
I mean,
because of
and
the
it
social
shows.
media. No. But here's the thing, right? It's not because of the social media. It's because of what happens on the social media, right? It's not the fact that they're exposed to Facebook that is a problem. It's the fact that kids will use Facebook to bully and ostracize and stuff in a way that they couldn't, without it. Right? So
And
is it really the exposure to porn, or is there something else going on? That would be
it's
my thing, and I would
it's
say
more it's these a lot of the data like when it comes to this is it's showing that like kids just sometimes like young kids like 13 under just are not ready to see that type of shit, and especially in this talking about, like the basic shit. This is like basic shit. This isn't like talking about like
This
a
isn't even
kid
bringing
going
up the
see.
modern shit today, right?
This
Yeah.
isn't like some kid to see some BDS porn. Like that was obviously
I mean, I see what you're saying, Blue. Like, because like I said,
I'm not
I
calling
was.
for.
Huh?
I had to specify this. I'm not calling for porn to be banned because it's an impossible task, and
I don't think that was implied at all with what you're
I'm
saying.
just making sure because I
No.
mentioned this, and someone's like, "Oh, you say porn has
No.
some negative effects? What are you, blah blah blah? Who wants to ban porn?"
Don't worry, Blue. We're not all line drawing people. Oh, we're good.
Jesus.
Love you, Blue.
Obviously, like
You're my
obviously,
boy,
porn
Blue.
has like obviously porn just. I guess it goes back to the whole topic of just some people are not ready for things,
Oh, God damn it.
and it's just
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
No, I can
No,
agree
for
with that.
sure,
just-
that's true. But again, it goes
It
with
gets-
who's to say when somebody is ready or not? Because I'll tell you what, man. Like I said, plenty of people in their 20s or 30s would not be ready for something like sex or driving or whatever. And then there are 13-year-olds that like they got shitty ass parents. They've basically been taking care of themselves and or raising a sibling for
and that's me right there,
years.
yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
who's to say that if they're acting just as much, if they're acting as responsible as your average 20-something-year-old, then who are you to say that they aren't ready for something like sex or driving or whatever it is, right? That's what makes this so complicated. Is not only are people different, circumstances are different.
And also it depends on like what the porn they're exposed to, because there is some porn out there that is quite jarring. And no, I'm not talking about like just simple like blowjob or whatever the fuck.
No,
Like,
there's some.
No, yeah,
there's
we
some
got
crazy
you.
shit out there. I
there's
agree.
some
Yeah.
crazy shit out there that not calling free ban, but I just think I just don't think kids should be exposed to some crazy shit like it's something basic like BDSM. Like I don't
Right.
think kids should be exposed to something like that.
I don't. And see, the thing is like the only reason why I would agree. The only reason why I'm agreeing with you is like I said, I am that statistic. I was a younger kid who watched his first porn. You know, my parents weren't home. I shouldn't have probably been left home by myself as it was, but I was a lot when I was a kid. Didn't have a babysitter. I didn't have an adult with me at all times. I was like 7 years old all the time, you know, at home by myself. So like, when you're bored of Nintendo, you know, you want to go check out other shit. You push play on the VCR. You know, that's how I found out about porn. Actually, it was because I thought one of my movies were in there, and it wasn't. It was my parents' like their collection, should I say? And that's where I saw my first pair of tits, vagina, you know, penetration.
But it's not like here's the thing.
But like that made me
it gets
like
more.
I would. But the thing was, is like psychologically, it fascinated me. I didn't get scarred from it. Like I wasn't. Oh my god! Like I was like, whoa! Like what the fuck? And then like you know, at an earlier age, I was curious about that shit. I was
But
like, you
it-
know, like I want to fuck. Like I want to check this out. Is this as good as this chick made it out to be? You know?
Yeah, but it's like here's the thing. Like this is like when a lot of the day when it's talking about this is talking about like porn videos. Like this isn't talking about like a kid sees a pair of boobs or something like that. Like, you know what I mean?
No, I know, but like the statistics and what we're talking about in general is porn. I'm not talking about
Yeah.
furry shit. I'm not talking about weird fucking fetishes or BDSM. I'm saying what made me sexually active or more sexually curious was at a very young age was watching that. And some kids, I'm sure, are like, "Oh my god, what the fuck is this?" And then they would turn it off immediately. Not me. I was one of those like, "The hell is this? You know what's this about?" You know?
No, when I first
Yeah,
got introduced to porn,
the
I was
effect-
still-
The problem with like trying to quantify a lot of this is the effects of porn on young kids and all that stuff. A lot of the effects, it's sort of like a divorce where the effects on the kid doesn't come until later.
Yeah.
Like that's the
yeah,
thing.
Absolutely. No, you're
Well,
right.
that's
yeah,
the thing with a lot
absolutely.
of stuff. Like, it's a lot of things that don't affect you until affect you enough until much later in life. You know, child abuse and stuff. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
violence in the home and shit. Like that doesn't have all
Like-
that much of an effect on you as a teen, but it can really fuck you up when you're in your early adulthood and later.
And because you see those numbers, a lot people who like child abusers were child abused as a kid,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
and that's the thing about all this is just all the effects don't get felt until later. And obviously, like I don't think like you ban porn, but it's like I feel like parents should maybe
Not do what mine did.
Yeah, but I think parents maybe should maybe like a dad with their son can get like for girls it's different obviously like porn affecting them and all that stuff, but for guys I feel like like I know this might sound really crazy, stay with me here, but I think the dad should explain it to them at least, like because the idea of them like hiding pretending porn doesn't exist is gonna make it worse for the
that never
kid.
works. Yeah, that never works.
Yeah, dude. My dad was a fucking moron when it came to that shit. He
What's up,
he
LeVar?
tried to have that. Dude, he tried to have that talk with me when I was like 16. I was like, bruh. Like,
Yeah, but
you're a
and they
little
try to give
late
you
on this one,
Oh yeah,
Dad.
already knew all this shit, bruh.
they
like-
try to give you that
Like, you
birds
might
and the
actually have a
bees.
grandson that I don't know about. Okay, Dad, that's how late you are.
No, but it's like I feel like dads should start explaining to their sons about like what porn is and really drill into their head that porn isn't real. Like the shit you see in porn, not every woman likes that type of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm.
But that's just like everything else. It's all up to individual shit, because there's plenty of
And-
girls that like everything that's in porn.
Yeah, there's
Same with
but there's a lot
guys.
of and then there's a lot of girls who don't like a lot of shit that's in porn. And remember, Pete, we talked about how girls like are more flexible, where they'll go along with a guy's weird little fetish, even if they don't like it.
Like,
You know what I
I
mean?
feel like fucking a
No,
pretzel.
it's not.
babe.
It's not so much. It's, like I said, this was in the interview. I can't remember the lady's name. Something Cho, Jennifer Cho, or something like that on Joe Rogan, and she's a sexologist or whatever the fuck they call it. And she was just saying that men have much more specific preferences when it comes to something like fetishes, whereas women are much more malleable with stuff like that. And it's not because it's not so much that they'll do things they don't want, it's that they just don't care one way or the other.
Well, yeah, because like, I mean, obviously you don't just stick it in a hole, but like I could understand the reasoning behind it. So yeah.
Well, I could use the example, but of course it ties into Blue, and I'm not sure he wants me to out him.
Sure, whatever you want. Like here, I'll give one. Like
yeah, with his foot fetish thing. It's like, you know, I could,
there, yeah.
well, I have to, right? It's like, it's an obvious example, and it's a good one because it's nothing, it's not even like the weakest BDSM or anything like that. But I could imagine being a woman, and if my guy really liked feet or something, it's like, well, what the fuck do I care if he wants me to rub his dick with my feet? Like, does that really matter to me? Like, unless you're really grossed out about it, which I can't, I mean, I could understand it, but I can't see too many people being super grossed out by it. It's kind of like, okay, if he wants me to do it, I'll do it. And I think that's kind of the way, that's the difference between, you know, like she was explaining, that's the difference between men and women, whereas men have pretty particular fetishes, whereas women are just kind of open, and as long as they don't hate something, they just, you know, go with the flow. But who knows, you know?
What if she hates it because he wants it?
Hey man, I'll bet you there are women like that. Vindictive cunts, man.
And also there's things like, when it comes to like that, like another good example of this is like anal. Like anal is actually not that popular of women, even though there's a lot of porn videos about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But a woman will
Not
be
been my
willing
experience,
to do it.
but hey, you know.
But a woman would be more willing to do it if there's prep time to it. Like you don't just like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like as we talked about, like they're like more flexible and will do certain things if they're not automatically grossed out or hate it immediately.
I'm actually.
It's the same with that statistic where it shows that like where wives will have sex with their husband even if they don't want to at that very moment to make them happy.
Okay, dude. You know what you gotta do, Blue? Is like, this is how you test those in the spare of the moment. Slip a finger in there. Just be like,
I mean, that's not.
She doesn't say no.
Yeah, just the thumb, you know. Just the tip, just for a second. See how it feels.
If you, I mean, that's the thing is. Crazy enough thing is that's how you get them cozy into it. You kind of prepare and you just see what they like, because obviously not everyone like me before you know do the magic stuff. You don't just say, oh, you don't hand a list and be like, oh, what's your blah blah. You usually just do it.
You don't have a fucking list for sex, dog. You're not like,
no,
okay,
that's part.
so
Well,
these are my 10 things that I want.
No, but it's
part
like,
of the problem is that people don't talk about this kind of shit, and it's kind of
usually
just a dance. Oh.
And a lot of my experience is usually just like you're in the motions doing it, and you kind of just test it a little bit. Like you know,
Blue carries on.
Yes, exactly. I carry on a full list of documents.
Yep.
No, but it's like you know you jokingly said, "Oh, you stick your finger in her ass," something like that.
That's actually that's accurate. That's a real thing.
That's an actual way to test if a girl's like interested or willing to even participate in anal sex, for example.
Well, like some women like they won't do like anal sex, but they say like if you're in the heat of the moment, like popping a thumb is fine. Like I've had exes that were like that. They were like, "Oh yeah, that was great." I was like, "Really?" But you don't like butt sex.
Like you don't like obviously you don't talk like you don't just like because you think that kills the vibe, and also that's just not how human beings act. Human beings don't like before they do stuff. They don't go, "Oh, here's a list," or whatever. Like especially for people who are relatively new to each other.
Yeah.
Versus a long-term relationship where you kind of know how it works.
How's your frames on OBS, Pete?
Fine. 0 dropped.
Okay. See, it shows on my end. On my end, it shows 25 dropped, and it optimal res was.
And now, let's drill this back into porn.
I never.
Well, no. Like, go ahead. You know what? Don's been trying to say something. Go ahead, Don.
Sorry, Don.
Well, I was trying to say earlier, like I first got into porn when I was on a field trip. We were putting the different hotel rooms for the Washington D.C. trip, and we're told not to avoid certain channels. And one of the guys like,
they shouldn't have told you.
one of the guys turned to that channel, and I'm like hiding, blink, taught not to look at stuff like that. But after I got home, they like to tell me, don't ever go to certain websites that parents are like. And then while they weren't around, that's where I went. So
of course it was.
Fuck the
You-
man.
The more you tell someone not to do something, it just makes them do it.
Exactly. I kind of wish I never started though.
Yeah, I mean, to drill this back into porn. Ha, see how I did there? But when it comes to like that stuff, it's just maybe dad should explain to their sons, because women understand this shit more than guys usually to a degree.
Yeah.
They're
But
just not
maybe
interested in
son-
the same kind of porn that guys are.
Like
They're
to
into-
maybe they should explain to their son that porn isn't reality, like
That's how my
sex
parents-
isn't
I think that's how my parents. I
like
don't
porn
know what it is.
like
Get
porn
your mic
isn't
closer to
reality.
your mouth, Don.
Yeah, you're cutting yourself out, Don.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
sorry.
Don, go first.
There
I
you go.
was taught that way basically. I can't remember if my parents taught me that or turned on the show that was talking about it, but saying yeah, porn doesn't really work that way. Women don't like that. No
It's-
one's
they-
gonna have
Well-
sex with you like that.
Okay, yeah,
not
some.
Not no one. It's just like people are into anything and nothing. I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
And the women,
I would say I think if anything, if porn helped me with anything, it was.
Well, you cut out there, Brem. What?
I said the only thing that porn helped me with when I was younger was.
Cut out again, right at the right.
God damn it! Hold on. Let me get my mic down here into my face. I said, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay. I said about the only thing that helped me out when I was younger watching porn for the first time was endurance.
Not wrong, man.
So that way when I was banging out chicks, dude, they'd be like, "Are you done?" I'm like, "No." Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Let's go. Come on.
Gotcha, bitch.
oh, I mean, it's just I mean, maybe that's why when parents say when parents and somebody's social conservatives
Yeah.
say they should ban porn. I disagree with the whole thing that they should. Obviously you need to explain this to kids and tell them what's healthy and what isn't healthy, and explain to them. Because if you
Yeah.
just deny that porn exists or try to ban it, it's not gonna fix it or won't even do
No,
anything.
No, it's
we're
gonna
not
have the
gonna do shit.
Streisand effect.
Exactly.
What's that? Trace.
When
It's
you
where
tried
it's
to,
a woman-
okay, yeah, Barbra Streisand, there was an embarrassing photo of Barbra Streisand, so she tried to get rid of it from the internet, and it blew up precisely because she was trying so hard to get rid of it.
Oh.
And this kind of thing
Yeah.
happens a lot, where a company or an individual will try to, limit the exposure of some embarrassing thing, but the very fact that they try and limit it is what makes it explode and become, mainstream or
Bigger
just
than
has
what it
everybody
was.
see it.
And
And
it
it's
makes people like, oh, what is she trying to hide? I've got to see it.
Sure. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
pretty much,
for all
yeah.
sorts of reasons, and that
Actually.
being one of them. Yeah.
Because
Definitely.
it goes against our nature. Because human beings are naturally curious people, or curious
Oh, yeah.
beings by nature. So
Yeah, definitely.
Also
more you make-
angry in some cases.
And it's the same thing
No,
with
it-
banning things. Banning. Oh God, man, it's just.
and
I
it's
think some
not
of
like I
this-
don't understand where they come from though, because I understand where a lot of these social conservatives come from. They're against porn, exposing kids to porn. I understand where
Sure.
it comes from, but it's
Yep.
I'm banning it. I don't know if that'll fix it or even do anything.
Yeah. No,
Right.
it won't. I mean, just look at alcohol. Banning almost never works.
And the porn might get worse though.
I
If
wouldn't
you
say
ban
that
it.
I'm pro. I wouldn't say that I'm pro porn. I'm kind of
I
against it,
am.
even though I have a problem with. So I
I'll
wish I
tell you
never
why. I'll
started.
tell you why. I'll tell you why. Right. And there have been. I need to go find the actual studies that were done with this, because I would like the actual numbers and the sources. But I did look into it. They were good studies. They had sources cited and everything, and it makes sense. I mean, the evidence is overwhelming. The countries with the worst incidence of sexual abuse are the countries with the least access to porn, and the ones with the lowest are the ones with the highest access to porn. And you can say all you
See
want
it in
about
Japan.
well, yeah, Japan and the rest of the Western countries have way less sexual assault than countries like, say, the Islamic countries or, any of them. I can't remember. There's not a whole lot of countries anymore that have banned porn, but there are enough to where all of those
Islamic-
ones have the worst cases of sexual assault and
And
rape and stuff.
And to butt in a little bit, the Islamic countries that ban porn, especially gay porn, for example, a lot of those countries have arenas where where men will go with young boys and like
Yeah.
basically do really gross shit with young boys. Because one thing is porn like that is banned in those countries. Like,
But
there's-
yet they encourage pedophilia. That's fucking dumb.
I
Right.
know, right? That's like a cultural thing. But them like the more like you see in the Islamic countries, the more they try to ban like gay porn, the more like gay men that kind of just crawl out in those countries. You know what I mean?
So I don't know.
And a lot of times they don't care if it's a crime or if it's a punishable crime by death. They just like they want to get their shit off, and you know what? They're just like, fuck it, I don't care if I'm gonna die or get stoned to death. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And well, remember the whole thing about Osama bin Laden where they found all of his computer stuff on his computer.
Whole bunch of fucking tentacle porn and hentai and shit. Yeah, buddy.
There was tons, and there was like ton of gay shit on there too. It's like Jesus, man, for a Islamic scholar, he really he was
For an-
preaching Islam.
For the leader of a super conservative sect of Islamic thought school, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, amazing.
Why do I always hear about some of these people in Islam like they're like doing this stuff with kids or like all that?
Because it's a cultural encouraged thing over there. That's the thing.
Does the
I think it's
Quran
also.
encourage
I
it
think
or
it also.
something?
I think it also. No. I think it has to do with the. It's the Catholic schoolgirl syndrome, where sex with women is so highly pushed against. I mean, like it's no sex before marriage and all this other shit. But sex with boys is not.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's why they
you
can
can say the same thing
bang
about
little
Catholic.
boys and all that stuff.
You could say the same thing about Catholic priests, man. There's a lot of people, and the evidence is pretty good. I mean, obviously, it's no causational stuff or anything like that, but there's a lot of. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. You tell priests that they can't get married, they can't have sex with women. They'll find another avenue.
They'll rape nuns. Gross, I know, but
It's a thing.
It's like
It's
I'm
a
telling you,
thing,
man. Repression, man.
unfortunately.
Repression is a killer, man.
the worst
It
thing
really
for a
is.
human. Not saying like you have to be a slave to your, because I think there's a like when like those like schools and all that stuff. I think there's an element of good where like you shouldn't be a slave to your sexual drive.
No,
for
no,
example.
yeah, that's the whole thing. There's a delicate balance that has to be maintained between healthy expression of something like sexuality and repression. Because yeah, you obviously can't just go fuck whoever you want, whenever you want,
You
however
can't be
you
a
want.
slave
Yeah.
to your sexual.
No,
I mean,
but
that's why a lot of these feminists don't like the no fat movement, because they're like, they're guys that are like, I don't want to be a slave to my sexual drive.
But yeah, I mean it's tough, man. It's like where do you draw the line?
It's
You know?
difficult to draw the line.
It's
It's
unbelievably
so
difficult.
complex.
Even the question of drawing the line is a difficult question. I mean, aside from obviously like pedophilia, yeah, that the line's pretty clear. But with fetishes and BDSM, like there's a whole bunch of Twitter feminists who get all pissed off about like torture porn and shit like that. And it's like, well, these women are agreeing to it.
If it's a
What do you want me to say? You can't do something that you are willingly agreeing to do? Like,
consensual actions,
it's tough, man.
it's a consensual
n-
action amongst
And it's
adults.
not like they
these
don't
are-
have an argument, because they do. As much as I hate to admit it, you can't say that there is nothing to their argument. But at the same
Yeah, like,
time,
that's-
just like
that's
any
kinda
other,
gross.
there's a whole bunch of other arguments like that, and it's like, yeah, but we don't play that game with all this other stuff. I mean, as much as people hate cigarettes and shit, we're still not quite at I mean, California is, but most places are not at the point where they're trying to ban cigarettes completely. Or
I
any
mean,
other
India, they
harmful
banned
behavior.
vaping.
Jumping out of a fucking airplane. You could use the exact same argument, and they'd have a point. It's like, well, why would you do something stupid like jump out of an airplane? How fucking dangerous is that? Or riding a motorcycle, or fucking, taking drugs, or any of that shit. All these arguments. They're not black and
People-
white.
Consensual adults should like have like consensual adults. Obviously, they should be able to do whatever they want in bed. Obviously, like their sexual needs.
Well, as long as it's
Obviously, I'm-
consensual between both parties.
Yeah, obviously that's why I said consensual adults.
Well,
Genius.
Yeah, all right.
It's just, yeah, it's difficult to draw a line with this. because
Although,
obviously there's
even
clear lines.
even to
but
that
also,
Sargon just had a fascinating video about cuckoldry on his channel, talking about how he doesn't think that cuckoldry should be supported in any way, shape, or form, even though it is consensual acts between, obviously multiple partners in this case. But and he makes a really good argument, especially with the kids, especially when there's kids involved, because once there's kids involved, the very act of allowing your significant other, like, a mother and a father, if the father is allowing another man to have sex with the mother of his kids, he is signaling,
or
he is
he's
signaling
banging
his
other women too.
well, he's allowing disrespect of his own. It's I don't even know what the right word would be, but
Family.
well, yeah,
Allowing
the
disrespect to his
integrity
wife.
of the family unit. That's a good one. Thanks, Don. Yeah, he's signaling he's allowing the disrespect of the family unit to occur, and I could see how that could be super
And also,
damaging for a kid to witness that.
that
or,
affects
gain
kids
wind
because
of it.
it's like that affects kids because it's just like those situations where like where young kids they grow up with a mom that's like sexually promiscuous, like they're like single mom, but she's like bringing a bunch of dudes and banging them at home all the time, all that stuff. That affects kids,
Yeah.
women and men.
So what's the line, right? All right, no
Mhm.
cucks, but is being a slut allowed? If you're a mom, you can't be a slut no more. This is the thing. Like, could you possibly? This is why laws are
mean,
not the answer for most of this stuff. For most of this stuff,
So-
yeah, it's social pressure is the best option because it's an indirect. It's not banned, so if you really want to do it, you can do it. But people are going to talk, and this is this thing. You can't stop that. People are going to talk regardless. And here's the thing, right?
social streaming of it.
This is why I get so pissed off at the people like the gay pride thing, where oh well, there's so much social stigma and stuff. It's like, well, wait a minute, dude. If you were truly comfortable in what you were doing, then you wouldn't care if it had social stigma.
Right.
Because nobody who's sure of their own actions gives two flying fucks what anybody else thinks about them.
It's true.
Ever.
Very true.
I do think there's a level of shame that should be required. Like obviously not like imprisonment. Like, oh, if you have sex before you get married, oh, you're an evil human being, blah blah. No, I'm not saying like stuff like that. But cuckoldry, especially when you have kids involved, yeah, that should be socially shamed. And by the way, it's not a
there's a reason people make fun of cucks. And I think that reason is because they understand, even if it's only at an instinctual level, that this is just not proper behavior. Like as much as it's or not two, but obviously, but as much as it's action between consenting adults, there are consequences beyond what they are considering. And stuff like that. It's the same thing with, people don't really care about sluts unless that slut is a mom and her kids are witnessing that shit. It's one thing to be an Instagram hoe. It's another thing to be an Instagram hoe with like your kid in the background of your fucking ass pics. You know what I mean? Like those are two completely different scenarios.
And that goes into the effects of social media on kids too. And Jonathan Hype. Jonathan Hype. He's done so many like he has so much like data and like his book, The Colony of the American Mind. There's so much like data involving like how social media is like how it affects kids.
Yeah, but again, like I said, that's not so much because of the social media, but because of things that happen on social media.
And the kids are not oblivious. Like, let's say if the mom's like an Instagram like hoe or whatever you want to call it, that will certainly affect the kids and their actions, especially daughters' viewality of they view themselves.
Yeah,
that will certainly affect them.
I mean, one of the biggest arguments for the nuclear family being the proper way to raise children is that kids need a good example in their life, not something that they just watch every once in a while. They go over to a friend's house and they see it. No, they need it in their life completely, where two adults in a loving relationship are interacting properly with each other. Yeah. That's the thing. It's like your parents become a model for you to emulate your behavior of what constitutes a good relationship. And so if
That's
your
why
parents'
boys
relationship is
emulate their
bad,
fathers.
yeah, or doesn't
And-
exist, yeah, it really fucks kids up because then they don't see how a man is supposed to act around his wife.
But I've
or
never.
vice
But here's
versa.
the thing, though. But here's the thing, though. I have never seen a cuckoldry relationship be a relationship. I've always saw it as a sexual fetish. I've never seen couples continuously have that guy around or that girl, or for that matter.
It's
To
a
be in
It
the
doesn't
life
matter.
of
See, that
these
doesn't
children,
really
you know what I
matter
mean?
though so much because whether they're
But
there.
that's what we're talking about, though. We're talking about influencing, right? We're talking about
Yeah, but
social
with
development
something
of a young
with something
child.
like that though, like it doesn't have to be. It's like there's certain things that you need to see constantly for them to soak in, right? But then there's certain things that you only have to see once or twice, and the effect of it will be pretty
But that's what
substantial.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of these times, these kids don't even know that mommy likes being plowed by another guy or daddy likes to be
Yeah.
having sex
mean-
with another woman. Like a lot of the sexual stuff, especially nowadays, are pretty well hidden. You know what I mean? So like, for all we know, Bob down the street, great father, plays sports, comes home to his wife every day. They have dinner. They build on social interactions for their children. And then at night, when the kids are in bed, they're probably having their fun. You know what I mean? Like, it's not always necessarily to a point where cuckoldry should be shamed based on a child's development. Because the same thing could be said about everything else we do in life. Like,
Sure.
we could talk about, we can sit there and say, well, my dad drinks a lot.
Well,
You know
yeah,
what I mean? He's a
that's. I
drunk.
mean,
You
absolutely.
know what I mean?
Also,
So,
Well,
like-
cuckoldry
that probably should be the line at which social shaming should take place. Is like, is your, if all your dad does is, have a couple beers with dinner, and then once the kids go to bed, maybe drink a little more, and that's it, and the kids never see him, getting angry or wobbly or whatever, then yeah, no problem. But if on the other hand, dad's getting sloshed every night at dinner, and
Right.
they see him going out on rampages or becoming violent or something like that, that's the point at which you say, all right, dude, yeah, like, you can drink, but come on, man, you're not only doing wrong, you're setting a real bad example for your kids who's gonna
Right.
grow up thinking that, hey, it's okay
Right.
to get sloshed every night and threaten people or whatever you're doing, right? So
Yeah.
it's the same thing. It's like you could say, yeah, if parents are able to completely keep their shit under wraps as far as sexual conquest or whatever the fuck you want to call it goes, fair enough. But how many people actually do that? That's, it's a small sample size to be sure, because any fetish like that is pretty small when compared to, the general population.
I was just gonna say no. Like, bro, come on, bro. Like,
No, but also the problem is like those relationships, like let's say like cuckoldry for example, those relationships are not stable or even like walkable. Let's say if like a wife.
well, that's why I said usually it's a fetish. It's not a relationship. It is not. So it's not somebody who wants to just bring in a third wheel. Like, it is not like that usually. It is usually they have a friend or someone that they're just friends with, and they're like, hey, want to come over and bring out my wife? And that's it. That's where it draws a line. It's not a, this is a throuple. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jim,
but
we're not defending anything. We're discussing it, and we're going all the way into it. Pros and cons on both sides. So
The problem also like those relationships is usually, let's say if it's just like the wife who just bangs other dudes while the dad doesn't.
right.
That the wife sees their husband as someone that can just walk over completely, which affects the youngsters. Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like if they see a relationship where the dad just hits the wife and just beats her relentlessly or walks over her and not care what she thinks.
yeah, no,
Right.
That
Yeah.
affects the kids, vice versa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like to pretend that it's just they just bring a third party in bed every once in a while is ludicrous to me because it's just like it's not usually that's not usually the case. So a lot of times it's a whole brigade and like it shows itself
Where do you
outside
see,
of the
okay, I gotta see this supposed study because I don't believe that. I don't believe that a sexual fetish has become so much to the point that the majority of that sexual fetish is based around throuple type situations. So if you could show me the majority of this, that would be wonderful, because I need you to really back up what you're saying right now. Because I don't believe you 100% that this is a triple situation.
It's not
And
like
that
it's not widespread.
I didn't think it is. I don't think it is either. But
Well,
the
again,
way
like
you
we're s-
talk
like I
about
was
it, you
saying.
kind of make it sound like it's this huge thing, and it's
Obviously,
really not.
disclaimer, it's not widespread or a huge thing.
Okay.
Well,
okay,
it's a huge
okay.
thing compared
Fair
to what?
enough. Fair
Compared
enough.
to the general population, no, but compared to the amount of people who engage in it, maybe. That's the question, right?
Obviously, that's a question there, but obviously, I don't have the exact numbers on how many couples or whatever
Well, no, it's
invest
just
into the
the way-
cuckoldry.
Hold up. Omega, I could say the same exact thing about drinking or something else that you enjoy. I could say that there's no pros
What
to
do you think?
drinking. You're killing your brain cells. You're acting stupid. You know, so like don't play like everything that you do is you're some perfect fucking saint, and that you don't
Wait,
have a
what's
bunch of
going on?
he's being silly in the
Wait,
chat.
Omega. Hold on, Omega. Wait, Omega. This is somebody who told me on Twitter that I was having a bad take on something. And when I asked you what was the bad take, to explain it a little bit more so that way I can have a better conversation with you, you completely ghosted me on that.
He did the same thing on our last stream where he commented, I pissed that I wasn't here for all these bad takes. No indication of which takes were bad and why, just that they were all bad takes. Like, all right, dude. You know, like, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, what's the pros
I'm
to
not
any of it? Well,
defending.
people doing what they want, that's the pro. And like I said, I could make the same exact argument that there's no such thing as a pro to drinking or fucking a whole bunch of... Yeah, but you do something, dude. Don't play like you're a saint. You do something. So
There's
don't
always
get on your
something that
high
somebody
don't get on your
does,
high
yeah.
horse and say that you never do anything that really doesn't have any advantages other than the fact that you like doing it. Because everybody does. Even fucking Mother Teresa, I'd bet dollars.
We don't know how much Teresa does.
I heard Mother Teresa was kind of a freak back in her day, you know what
Right?
I'm
Like,
saying?
who knows? You know what I mean? Who the fuck knows?
Remember-
I guarantee you she drank her wine or fucking took it up the butt or something, man. I don't know what, but she did something. Everybody does. Nobody is perfect. So,
And
anyway.
and obviously, I'm not the one defending cuckoldry or a lot of those weird fetishes because a lot of them.
I'm not defending it either. I'm just trying to
Remember
figure
the-
out, because the way it came off as to me, Blue, is like you were talking about a majority number of something. It was a
Yeah, it's-
quantifiable amount that you were speaking of, and that's what I was like. I don't think cuckoldry is healthy either. Like I don't think that's
I'm with you.
a healthy way of doing things for a relationship.
Yep.
But I mean, you know what I mean? Like I can't
Well, that's
really
the thing.
judge
It's like
them
there's
either,
lots of
so-
things that people do that are unhealthy in the end. And, you know, I don't know. For me, it's a matter of how unhealthy is it. And fuck, man. God, in my experience, it's all pretty unhealthy depending on where you're at. I mean, just like I said, drinking, smoking, doing
banning,
drugs.
not calling for bans, by the way. Omega.
You know, all of it. Like, you know, you can take anything to an unhealthy extreme. It's just a matter
Wait,
of which
make
what point.
assumptions. What assumptions are we making?
Yeah, I never made any assumptions, dude. You said we were defending that shit. You said there are no pros.
Yeah, you assumed we were defending it, dog. Like
And you said
did.
that if
It
you're
sa-
saying
says
there's
it right here
pros,
in the
then
text.
you are sick. And like I said, I could make that exact same argument about something that you do that you would defend, just like we're defending this, or that you could defend drinking or anything else. And yeah, so you know,
So, I mean, I look at it this way: like, everybody has their likes and their tastes and their wants. You know, even if we disagree with it, it's cool, whatever.
People
Right?
like bad things.
People
Yeah,
do
like-
like bad things.
like I said,
yeah,
so-
definitely.
somebody could make all the exact same arguments about me riding my motorcycle. Every single one of them. It's unhealthy. It's dangerous. You know, I shouldn't be doing it. And it's like, yeah, you're probably right. But you know what? Fuck it. I don't care. I'm gonna keep doing it.
Kicks our rise on danger.
You know, I need my
Hey,
adrenaline
yeah.
fix, and yeah, it is probably terrible for me. But you know, in my estimation, not getting it is more terrible for me.
Okay, yeah. So I'm thinking this is YouTube, dude. This isn't your. This is
What?
YouTube.
What's-
It has to be.
Yeah,
Because
I'm
now
still
it
at
dropped
0 drop
to-
frames.
Your resolution dropped. It fluctuated down to the current optimal setting now is 640 by 360 at 30 frames a second.
Yeah, it's got to be YouTube, man. What the fuck
It
is
has to be
going on?
YouTube, dude. Because I'm watching the actual schematic right now fluctuate up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down.
Yeah, and I've got perfectly stable kbps and 0 dropped frames. Not even like 100 or something silly like that. Yeah, 0. So yeah, fucking fix your shit,
Like,
YouTube.
So Omega, do you truly not understand what he was saying? He wasn't calling you a saint. He was saying you shouldn't probably act like a saint. If he full out said that you are a saint, I highly doubt that's what he meant by it.
No, yeah, that's not what I meant.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. You made an assumption. You admit to it. Cool. Like, that's all he was trying to say, dog. That's all he was trying to do.
I didn't mean to go on you that hard, but I get really irritated with stuff like that because it's the same kind of moral policing that SJWs and conservative Christians do. You know, the obvious big example would be like some anti-gay senator who turns out to be gay, but like I
Yes,
said,
that happens a lot though.
everybody does something like that that's terrible for them,
Yeah.
or that really doesn't help the people around them, or that they really shouldn't do. But we're all humans
Yeah.
and we all do shit like that.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not
definitely.
going to sit there and say that cuckolds are evil while I'm not. Even though I do some of the same shit, just in a different way. I smoke cigarettes, I drink alcohol, I ride motorcycles, and all that
Yeah.
shit. So
I think it's wrong, but it's like obviously I'm not calling for bans. Not cigarettes by that. I'm talking about like cuckoldry. I think it's wrong, but I'm not calling for bans and all that stuff. Because bans don't work and all
But
that.
you know what's funny? There are states that try.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
There
There's
are
states.
states.
Can't-
There's states with a
that tell
limit
you-
on how many dildos you can have in one household. I mean,
Bro, that's the most atrocious stupidity that I have ever seen. Dude.
You can't
Like-
ban things like that because it's just that's not how the force works.
I don't remember which state this one is, but they said it's illegal to have sex in your bedroom. I can't
No,
remember.
Omega. Everything is not. Well, everything is fair game as far as discussion goes, but that doesn't mean that everything is equal. Like obviously, pedophilia is not on the same level as cuckoldry, right? And
Right.
neither is
Right.
Never said
drinking
that.
alcohol. Drinking alcohol is not the same as getting so drunk that you start getting violent with the people around you. I mean, that's the thing. There are lines to everything. The question is almost always where is the line, and that's why we have discussions like this. That's why people argue about what the laws should be.
Yeah.
Fuck.
No, Gangster's more like libertarian than I am.
I am. Yeah, I am. For me, it's all free market. Things sort themselves. Usually, not always, but usually
And-
sort themselves
see-
out.
And see, like with me, like I'm neither libertarian nor am I all the way authoritarian. Like I'm a little bit of both. Like I've been called that I was hardcore authoritarian. I've been told that I was too hardcore being libertarian. Like I'm like, but here, I'm authoritarian when it comes to holding people to their beliefs. Like I guess that's where I'm authoritarian at.
Hey, fair
Like,
enough.
Or
if someone's gonna tell me
make
one
it-
thing, if someone's gonna tell me one thing and they do the same thing that they speak up against, then you damn right I'm gonna fucking call them out on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Accountability, you mean? You're
Yeah,
calling for
but holding-
accountability.
Holding them to their being accountable. Like all these news networks, they are not accountable to what they say, or how they project themselves onto others, right? But yet
Or-
you hear about all this weird shit that they're doing behind the camera, and you're like, whoa, like didn't he just do a story on this?
Well, just look at the Hollywood sex shit, where for decades now, Hollywood has been blasting people about how horrible they are, sexual deviancy wise, and they shouldn't rape and they shouldn't do all this shit. And it turns out that they're some of the worst offenders when it comes to that kind of shit.
It's like
Harvey Weinstein, case in point.
I mean, Harvey Weinstein literally said
Oprah,
the most.
that picture of fucking Oprah handing over, I can't remember what her name was, but that little blonde actress when she was barely 17 or 18,
Yeah, I know-
introducing
I know
her
what you're
to fucking Harvey Weinstein, like she's fucking giving up some kid as a sacrifice or something. It's just like, man, Oprah, you have zero room to talk about any of this shit, because apparently all you knew, everybody knew, and yet here you are presenting a young girl
They
to
literally
him.
made jokes about it, so there was some form of awareness. Maybe they didn't know the extent, but there was some form of awareness about it.
They knew it was happening, and certainly if it was so widespread as everybody keeps saying it was, then plenty of people knew.
There was literally audio. There was literal audio of Harvey Weinstein screaming at a lady, "Just take your fucking shirt off, please!" Already, like fuck.
So
Like there was audio of this shit. That's how
Yeah.
widespread it was.
Yeah.
And that's honestly why I've really stopped caring what people think about me, because it's like, you know what, man, I know what my demons are, and they're pretty tame compared to most people's. Like, you really want to
Yeah.
come after me? Let's compare fucking demons. Like, let's go for it.
Also,
Like, go through my
I agree
fucking
with him,
porn
though.
stash. You know? I
I
don't
mean,
give a fuck.
I would see Omega, like, bro, like, I would say the same about you. You're right. According to your logic, you also do something, so is all okay. No, that's not what he's saying. Just make an assumption on your logic. I made an assumption on your logic, and look what happened, bro. Like, you literally, like, you disappeared. You fucking bounced, dog. Like, you couldn't
Oh.
answer back with anything. Instead, you got offended and you left the conversation on Twitter, dog. I mean, come on. Like, I didn't say people like you remember that shit, right, Pete? Like, I wasn't saying
it's-
people who like Lolly were pedophiles. I was questioning is how could you be sexually attracted to characters that look like children?
Yeah,
That was
but-
my point. And you said, and he took it as, oh well, so all Lolly people are pedophiles. No, not what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I
but
said the ideals behind liking something that looks like a child is a very questionable thing into regards of pedophilia. I'm not saying you are automatically a pedophile. I'm not saying that you like to fuck kids. I was just asking the question, and you couldn't answer it. That's all I did. And you took the fuck out. You yeeted the fuck out. And you said it was a bad take, and you didn't answer me ever since. So
also
I
there's
mean,
disagree with you, Bram. There's also a difference between like a picture, like a drawing, and real people. So
I didn't say they were the same, Blue. No, nowhere in that entire
but even
thing
but
did
even
I say it was the
even
same.
the underlying assumption, because here's this is the ultimate level of that part of the argument that I can that I can get to. It's
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough, bro.
I could find pictures of 30-year-old women who literally look like they're 12 years old. I can find them.
Right.
So
right. I'm not
I
saying they don't exist.
Well, but
I'm
that's my
not
point.
saying they don't exist.
If that's an adult body that somebody could be attracted to, then I don't see the difference between being attracted.
If
to
it's adult
her.
body, sure. If
Well,
it's
but that's what's the
an
difference between the
if it's
drawn
an adult-
character.
if it's an adult body, sure. I am saying, okay, if the attraction in itself, let's say it's not the body. Let's say what this really is about. Why are they attracted to females who look, not saying they are, but look like children? That has always been my question. I've never once said that person's a pedophile. I always wanted to know the psyche of a person who finds younger looking, almost childlike looks to be attractive. I want to know why. Because that sort of thing I would like to have a better understanding of, instead of me always drawing the conclusion that they are in one way or another pedophilic. Because that is one of my faults, is I do draw those lines sometimes. And sometimes, I overreact and sometimes I get pissed. And I'm trying not to do that. That's why I'm trying to understand what is so sexually attractive of someone who looks like a child. That's all. That's all I want to know. I'm not saying that they're pedophiles. I'm not saying that they're disgusting. Because like he thought I was like going in on him or something, and I wasn't. I wanted to know that, what's there. What is it? What is it about a child's face do you find attractive? Regardless if they're like 65 years old and they have unbelievably unaging skin. Like, I just wanted to know. That's all. I was trying to have a real conversation about it instead of just reverting back to my old self of drawing the conclusion that person's a piece of shit. You know what I mean? That's all I wanted. I wanted to dip into the psyche to see what people that have that kind of thing, like, what makes it a thing. You know what I mean? Like, because not everybody's a fucking pedophile who likes to look at Lolly. I have tons of friends that have Lolly pictures. They draw Lolly. I got a few friends that on DeviantArt that are some of the biggest Lolly artists that you could find, and their artwork looks amazing. I'm just saying, on a sexual level, mentally, why? That's all. That's all I want to know. I wasn't trying to pick a fight with anybody. And you know what I mean? Like, it was just something I wanted. Because like the old me, I would have been like, block. I'm not gonna talk to you. You know what I mean? If you find lollies attractive sexually, I'm not talking to you. Like that's the old me. I'm trying to break out of that. I'm trying to figure people out better before I draw the assumption.
Fair enough.
So and nobody can do it. Nobody can do it. Like it's weird to me. Like if you have the balls to sit there and say lolly isn't porn or lolly's not pedophile, I need to know for my understanding as to why it's not pedophilia. That's besides telling me, oh well, that character's really 7,500 years old. Like, no shit. There's elves in Lord of the Rings that are like 1,000 years old. Okay, so I mean, what's your point? Like, my thing was just the looking. Like, what was the attraction of the looks? That's all.
Well,
I mean,
think
that's a
it's
fair
I think
question.
it's just an attraction to slim figures, and that's the epitome of a slim
Or
figure.
petite women.
Yeah, well,
like,
petite,
maybe.
slim, young. Because here's the thing, right? Younger women are more fertile. That's why men are attracted to younger women. I mean, that's the simple answer. And so I think.
But at least
now,
it's honest. But that's an honest answer. It's not something like, oh, but they're like 600 years old. I mean, I'm not talking.
See, that's silly lore stuff. It's honestly, I'll bet you that's just shit for normies, right? It's just an excuse they
that's
can give
what I
normies.
said. I'm like, it seems to me it's just everybody clings to the
Because
lure
the argument
bullshit.
is too complicated to have. Like, how many times have we
Thank you.
discussed this? And we've
Thank
gone
you.
over and over it, and there's, so many different facets to the argument, because it's like, oh, what's a real age? Well, because, again, like, Game of Thrones or fucking a whole bunch of movies that are supposed to be like high school kids, but the actresses and actors are of age, so they're showing tits and ass. But it's supposed to be high school kids in the movie. You could say all the same things about that kind of shit. But it's
Right.
like, as far as anime goes, it's like, well, just make her 700 years old, and then this question is averted because she's not anywhere close to a child
Thank you.
except in what they look.
Absolutely. That is exactly. See, like, Pete, that right there, bro. Like that. Yes.
Yeah, I got you, bro.
People are not ready for the conversation. even
No, they
though I'm
really no,
trying-
dude. And it's just like with a whole bunch of stuff, dude. It's like people just don't want to have these conversations, and I get why, right? I get it. They're tough. They go
it's
places
tough.
people don't want to go.
But Omega, you have never told me why it's bad logic. Look, Omega, I've always respected what you've had to say when it comes to this podcast. You've always been a supporter. I'm not attacking you, okay? Even though on the Discord server you were like going crazy about fucking my stance on this prior, you still haven't answered me that question. Because like I said, I'm not judging you, I'm not shitting on you, and it's not bad logic, because sexual attraction, because guess what, humans, we are physically and visually attracted to things. You are a not you, but a lot of people are visual people. And what are you talking about? How did you... It's a 2D fantasy character. See, you're not being honest. You are being ideologically dishonest in this comment, in this conversation right now. You can say I didn't. You want... What? All
I
right,
mean, I
well,
can sort of
whatever.
understand where he's coming from, where he said like it's just a character from like a piece of medium. So why are we getting so deep about it? Like I can understand, like fair enough.
But how do you understand that though?
Because sometimes people, because that's the best way to put this.
You know we're
Sorry.
talking about sexual attraction, right? Sexual attraction, Blue.
Oh, sexual attraction. I thought you were talking about like, just like
Although, see,
characters.
the other
No,
side-
no, I'm not. No. If you like Lolly, fine, right? I never said
Not a
Lolly was
fan, no.
bad. I never said Lolly was. I'm talking about sexual
Shush, dog.
attraction, and that's all I was talking about was sexual attraction. You can like Lolly, like everybody likes Lolly. Fuck, I know a lot of my dudes from the Game Talk, even on Discord, have Lolly characters of themselves. Like that's not a big deal. I was just trying to figure out why this sexual attraction. Why? No, and Pete has already explained it. Nobody is willing to have that conversation, right?
Well, it's
Because
difficult.
it's easy to sit there and say, "Well, it's just a fantasy character." To me, that is ideologically dishonest because now you're just trying to assume that I'm only talking about the attraction to fantasy. I'm not talking about the attraction to fantasy. I'm talking about the attraction of physical appearance. It's not hard. It's not anything ill will towards anybody because nobody honestly wants to answer that fucking question. They are
here's
not
part of
willing
the
to.
problem, right? all the people who probably could defend it don't want to, either because they don't want to seem like they're pedophiles or even be associated with that sort of thing, and all the people who are who really talk about it, they can't defend it because they don't even understand it. You know, they just don't like it.
Wait, are you in this? Are you in this server, Omega? You said he wants to be pulled in.
I can understand. The problem is, I can get really weird about Brim's question too, because it's like I will defend like law and all that stuff, because it's just like I'm
Blue,
not that.
are you sexually attracted
No,
to it?
no,
Okay,
I'm not. But
there you go,
I don't like
see?
bands generally. To explain that,
Well, I mean,
and I worry about like.
Do you see what I'm saying, No Blue? Like, I'm not.
I understand where you're coming. You're asking
Okay,
why are they
alright.
into that. I got some answers on my own, like why I would maybe think that for some people, but it's like I can't read minds. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna make it.
Yeah.
Like like put some like probably shit I would probably say, like to explain it. But it's like why people generally, I don't know. Like that's the best way I
There's
can
a
say
lot.
it.
There are a lot of people, and like, I'm not trying to go on a warpath or anything. I'm not trying to like, be a dick. Like the old me, yeah, sure, I'd have been like, you fucking disgust me, you know what I mean? But I'm trying to go away
I'm
from
an
that.
immoral crusader.
Yeah, right. I used to be. I'm dead serious. Like I used to be that way, and
Oh, dude, that's how
I'm
people are with a lot
trying
of
not to
things.
be that way anymore.
Yeah.
So
I used to be pro banning Lolly until I got into an argument with Pete about it, and I couldn't defend it. Like I couldn't defend a banning position because he brought up like, then why not just ban video games or something like that? I'm like, and I couldn't really. Oh shit, fuck, never mind.
Yeah, right. Like, and at least that was ideologically, and it was actually a direct answer. You know what I mean? So, and that's all I've ever wanted was to have a conversation based on this, because, you look, and the only thing that I saw close to this was dumb shit on Twitch who got banned. What was his name? The guy that was trying to justify incest. Remember? Who was that? Him, Sargon, Blair White. They all fucking dogpiled him on his stances against incest.
Oh, I don't think I saw that. I would have been interested in
Same
that.
about Destiny.
God, yes,
Destiny
thank you, Destiny.
streamer.
Yes, like he didn't have a
Destiny's a
fucking
weird
honest
dude.
answer because he kept going a question with a question with a question with a question, and it was like, dude, like, come on, bro. Like they are literally asking you, why do you not find your own child attractive, if in fact you are saying that incest should be okay
I'll be right back.
at any age, because he was consenting on any age. So like when
Destiny's
they
a
asked him
weird
that
guy,
question, yeah, like the guy couldn't answer the fucking question honestly, and that's always been my issue with people in general when it comes to real questions.
The problem is with that is Destiny's not a very honest guy, and Sargon like just murders him a lot of times in debates.
The sexual attraction is the non-realistic fact of it. So you're telling me there's no visual about that, is what you're trying to tell me. I'm not okay. I don't know, Omega, if you're understanding what I'm trying to say. Okay? I'm saying, I mean, this is as clear as cut as day is light. There's light outside, okay?
Well, it is dark outside now, so.
What is the attraction of a 2D character looking like a child? That has always been the question. I've never changed it from that format. I don't know if you know how to answer it. Maybe you don't come off weird. I don't know. Like, it is what it is. And as far as the server goes, let's see. Pete, do you still have Omega in the DMs?
Ooh, let me see.
Because if so, can you invite him in so that way I can at least, because like texting is kind of annoying. You can't really get anywhere with it. I know. I'm trying, bro. I'm trying.
I mean, you see that? Like, here's the older person
I
who
do not
looks
have
young.
Omega in my DMs.
Shit.
The other person that
I'm gonna
looks.
try to send you the invite.
Pete. I guess,
Yeah.
you know in Goblin Slayer how there's high elf archer. Thank you, I got messed up there.
Yes.
How she's like 9,000 years old or something, like not
Sure.
like 1,000-year-old, but she looks like 20, something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's the fantasy trope that's really common.
Oh, here we go. I can invite you, Omega. I'm trying to get you in here. I just sent you the invite, bro. Don't share a server with the recipient or your what? The fuck? Okay, that's kind of weird.
Fuck.
You know what? I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna send you the invite, Omega, through Twitter. So check your DMs in a minute. Because for some reason it's just not coming. It's saying that we don't have a server together, and I thought we did.
Fuck.
Unless that's just fucking Discord being Discord like usual.
Right. Oh god damn it.
The fuck? I could have sworn we had each other on Twitter. Omega. Let's see. Oh, here you are. Okay. Fuck, really? I can't message you? We used to have DMs open.
Oh shit.
Topics, copy that. What the fuck? I had you followed. Why is this? Alright, this is fucking stupid. Alright. Following you now, so I should be able to message you. What the fuck? Let me see if I can at least DM you then. This is fucking dumb. Add the invite link. Invite. Oh, perfect. Omega.
So over Anakin.
Alright, Omega, I'm gonna send it to you on Discord right now, dog. There you go. Wait, what? God dang, dude. Like, what is up with this bullshit? Your message cannot be... Oh, you have a bot, Omega? Is that what it is? Was I blocked by you? Did you block me or something on Discord when you were mad at me or what?
Is there like you can only DM friends on Discord?
Yeah.
DM add on Discord as a friend.
Like, I thought he was my friend on here. That's what I'm trying to understand, like, at one point. Well, I just added you on Discord for, like, the second time, so that way I could bring you in. I don't remember ever deleting you, dude. Like, because you were on my friends list along with a lot of those members, but I don't know. Whatever.
Gotcha, bitch.
Are you talking about Don, Arrow?
Did that other
still
person
here.
leave? Oh,
I'm
Don's
still
here.
here.
Just turned his camera off. Yeah, but even if you were kicked from the server, you still should have been friends with Brem.
He was kicked from the server? I don't remember kicking. I was kicked from
I
the
don't
server.
remember
What
that either,
server were
but-
you kicked from, dude? I don't remember kicking you. Who the fuck kicked you? I don't even know who would have. Like, that's just. I don't know. That's beyond me, dog. I don't know what the fuck. What happened with you?
Oh god damn it.
Because even if I get into like really heated conversations with people that I know, like I'm not gonna just randomly kick them. That's not what I do.
Yeah, but somebody else might have. I mean, you know, shit
Yeah.
happens. Fuck.
Like I've gotten into yelling matches with Pete over stupid shit, and like I never fucking thought ill will of him. Shit.
Or me and Rambo,
Especially-
man. We got into it on a
Yeah.
number of occasions. Man, I mean,
Or when people
somebody
have-
should let him know that we do Sundays at noon now instead of late at night, so it'll be a lot easier for him to join if he wants to. I don't know how
Yeah.
his schedule is coming, but you know, just in case, because I know like that one night he was supposed to join us, he ended up falling asleep because it was just so fucking late.
Yes,
Are you logged into? Are you logged in Omega? Like I mean,
Damn, dude, we're gonna
here, let me
lose
try
this
to add you as a
hard.
friend, I guess. Again. Okay, that's the second time I sent that friend request. That's weird.
Gotcha, bitch.
All right, I
Oh.
sent you the friend request, Omega. I don't know what the deal is, dog. I never kicked you. I would, even if we disagree on this stuff, I wouldn't. That's completely against what I believe in. So
Maybe one of the old mods or whatever. Because
Probably.
wasn't there a couple old mods?
Yeah, it might have
Yeah.
been. Who knows?
I wonder if it was Cat, because I know Cat was kicking people left and right before I kicked her,
Why was she kicking people?
because she was trolling the server. She was like removing people and shit. Omega might have been one of the ones that.
Yeah,
did
the
that
actual.
too.
He says the actual GT server, which that would have been it.
Yeah, that would have been Cat. Yeah.
That's why you got to be careful who you let be a mod.
Well, she was one of Rags's friends or whatever.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Who's Rags?
A
God, this game's
YouTuber
really fun.
used to be
Hmm.
used to be on the Game Talk. That's the guy I replaced.
Yep.
What was the problem with
Alright.
Rags?
There you go, sir. That's
got
He's,
too
what
big.
that's what
he's
you-
on his own thing now.
Yeah, he got too big and he wanted to be. I mean, I was actually just explaining this to my mom the other day for some silly reason, but I know exactly what happened with him. He got big and he wanted to move on to bigger and better things, which is fine, but he was a little too much of a kid about it and didn't want to have the hard conversation of that.
Yeah.
And instead
yeah.
of doing that, he just leaves with no explanation or warning or anything like that.
And
So-
then pretends like he never did, and then
Yeah,
that was,
and it's
that was childish
mean,
as fuck. Yeah.
yeah, but especially then, he was a lot more of a kid then than he is now. It's like
Yeah.
it's not like I don't understand it. I've done the same shit.
Right. It's funny now. It's like before he didn't want to do gaming, right? Now he's like relying on it.
Wait, he's doing what?
So some of his content now, or like he's got another channel that he's doing
Dargo
with the
Bite
quartering
is
or
like-
whatever.
I thought that was kind of like his version of Sargon's, like the Thinker or a COD Daily.
Well, he's also doing the shit for Quartering's
Mauler
website too.
and
Well, no, not just that, but the Quartering's website too. Just Games, not Just Games, but something like that.
I mean, to be fair though, to Rags, like I never would have got like fully into like EFAP fight, like because he shouted out Mauler originally, because I never really clicked on his video. His his video going viral, that rage video about the Last Jedi. I never clicked onto it until I saw
Alright,
like
guys,
Rags
he's
do a
here.
recommendation for it.
So
So
what's up, dude?
He's muted.
Is he?
I mean,
Alright,
he shows the mute thing in his thing.
Oh, okay. All right. So he's muted himself. All right.
Arrow,
was just making-
I think that's because most of his stuff now is on the
No, he's server
that-
muted. Okay. There we
is
go.
on that for the Quartering's website instead of for his own
All right,
channel.
Omega. Omega. I guess one of the settings somebody put for the Game Talk is they put them server muted when they first get here, especially if you've never been here before. So
Fair enough.
you should be able to unmute yourself whenever you want.
Oh, fuck me. Yeah, it's gonna be all shotgun up in this bitch.
Yeah, I'm just
Get
wondering
fucked.
maybe that's just YouTube's shit fucking up, dude. Because like,
Right? God damn it.
since I've been watching, you've dropped 127 frames, but that's over a course of a period of time. That's not all at once. So,
No, yeah, that's not a lot for how many frames I've delivered. So, and like I said,
Yeah.
Hello?
OBS still shows 0. Yeah,
hey,
what's
what
up?
up, dude?
Hey, what's up, guys? It's been a long time.
It's been a minute, dog. Yeah.
Just
They have a
chilling.
setting where I had to do push to talk only on here. That's why.
Oh fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
That's weird.
So
Maybe that's for anybody who's not a part of the Game Talk thing.
Anyways,
oh yeah.
I'm sorry if I seem to be being very harsh on text. I don't like text because it feels like I'm being an asshole, and I'm not really trying to be an asshole. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good, dog. You're good. It just came out that way because you know what I mean. Like when we're in the middle of the conversation, like it it sort of escalates naturally, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, a long time ago, I got kicked from the server. Like one day, I logged into Discord, and I was no longer in you guys like circle anymore. And on Twitter, I was no longer following. But I have no one blocked. I got no one blocked. The only one I blocked
Neither
is
do-
like two
neither do
people
I.
who I got into a fight with, but they're not part of this group over here.
Yeah, dude. I don't. Like I said, the only thing I can think of is that whole thing with Rags happened. Like I think Cat went in and like fucking deleted a whole lot of people, dude. Like
Yeah.
because I would never kick you. And I never had you blocked, so I mean I don't know what the fuck happened. I thought that was a little weird
Jesus, this is a
myself.
clusterfuck.
But anyways, welcome back. Like, welcome back, bro. Like, fuck. That wasn't
this
like
is
I said.
awkward.
That was weird.
Okay. Also, I'm sorry if it seems that I ghosted you on Twitter. I only text like once or two things on Twitter, and then I just log off of that place because it can get really rough in there.
Cancer. Yeah, I got you.
Oh, it's
Fucking
cancerous.
cancer.
I agree.
Yeah. I do
So-
the
so
same
I'm
thing.
sorry,
I'm on for 2 days.
No,
And
I'm
I
sorry
do-
for assuming, dude. I'm sorry that you go. I assumed that you ghosted because that's what it kind of felt like. Because
Hey, no
I've-
problem there. I also make assumptions. Like I say, I'm willing to admit that I am assuming.
yeah, you're good. And that's what I'm trying not to do anymore. So hey, that's what I'm trying to work on, honestly.
So okay, let me see if I understand. You think there might be something wrong with someone that likes lolis, or what's the actual argument on that?
No. Okay, so so the old me, that would have been the case, right? That would have been that would be the topic that we would be having. No, is I'm trying to have an understanding of the visual attraction sexually and physically to somebody who looks like a kid. Lollies are made to be childlike. Not a big deal. Like I said, I got a lot of friends like you and other people in this community that are really hardcore into lollies. Not judging. I've gotten a few pieces done that were lolly and they were fun. Nothing crazy. Just I'm trying to become better in the way I can argue with this or against it or for it or whatever it may be, just so I can have a better understanding.
Okay.
What is the sexual attraction? What's the sexual
Okay.
nature of it? Because it's really weird to me, and
Hey.
it's always gonna be, regardless of what anybody says, obviously. But at least what I'm trying to come out of this is not be as judgmental as I usually am. Trying to do away with that.
Okay, yeah, I do understand that one. The thing is because they're like 2D characters. They're not actual 3D people. So it's like I say, it's a fantasy thing. It's not a real life. Because a real little girl does not look like an anime loli.
That is
I-
a good point. Yeah.
To me,
Right.
they look completely different.
Right.
Another thing, well, one of the things that makes this so difficult to parse, right, is the difference between animation and real life. Like, the difference between a 20-some, like, you watch a show, right, and it'll be some youngster joins a company and she's talking with her older counterpart, right, the old middle management boss lady, right, and the only difference between them is maybe a couple of small lines on the face. And or maybe the fact that the older lady's wearing like a little bit more of a business type wear versus like, a little more casual wear for the younger person. So one of the problems is that age is a very hard thing to illustrate,
Right.
because it's like there's facial features of older or younger people that don't translate well when you're animating. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
just about any character that's high school aged all the way up to almost 30s, they kind of all look almost identical, or obviously they don't look identical, but like you could make a character, you could say that the same exact character was 16 or 17 or 28 and people would buy it easily.
Yeah. Also, the whole argument that they're 200-year-old. That's a whole meme in the whole anime community, and it's a loli meme that
Right.
we use as a defense, just to be funny about it. But to tell you the truth, if they're attracted to lolis, it's not because they have an attraction to actual like human little girls. Because to me, a human little girl looks way different than an actual 2D cartoon little girl.
Which is fair. I would, yeah, that's fair. At least now you're able to tell me that, you know what I mean, and I would be able to take that for what it is, which is fine.
Not to mention some of these lolly characters are some of them they make them stack.
You're cutting in and
You
out.
are cutting out
Don.
severely,
Yeah.
bro.
Turn down your noise gate just a few more decibels.
Also, for me, like pictures of like kid anime characters, to me, it's more adorable. Like I just like, that's adorable. That's how I see it sometimes.
Well, and that's fine. Like
how I look
that's
at it.
fine. No, that's fine. Like saying something is adorable is fine. It's just there are a lot of dudes. Not saying all of them, but there are a lot of dudes that are like, "Oh, that's so cute. I want to put my dick in it," and it's weird. You know what I mean? It's a strange thing.
I'm some-
I like how you
that
jumped
is
into
fucking
that.
creepy to me, dude. But,
Dude.
but again, I'm trying not to be judgmental. Like
Obviously,
I'm trying
I
to
was
put that
joking,
away.
right?
So
Dude, I know
Don't-
guys that go to the mall, you have to take pictures of mannequins and then jerk off to that.
Aren't there like some lolly characters that have like adult assets though? If I'm using that word correctly, I'm not
Sure.
sure.
Yeah.
You're talking about a loli with big boobs?
Some cases, yeah. Some anime do that.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the thing is, how much is that is like an actual kid thing, or is that like, oh, that just looks like a petite woman, or a woman that's just really
Right,
short?
yeah.
Well, that's
you know
kind
what
of the
I mean?
whole point. It's like there's really not all that much of a difference besides boob size between a regular lolly and a lolly with more adult like hips and boobs. Like the differences are so minor in animation versus real life. Like this is part of the thing, right? You have those movies like I was talking about where it's high school kids or high school aged kids, but they're being played by adult actors that look young enough to look the part. And nobody cares about that because the differences are more in like nobody's mistaking one of those actresses for a 12-year-old kid. But you can do that in animation very easily. Like you can make a character that could just as easily look 12 as she does 20 something because of how different real life is to, you know, cartoons.
Animation. Look at Morty from Rick and Morty, for example. It looks like
Yeah, I mean he could easily be 12 just as easily as he could be, you know, 22.
16 as he
Yeah.
is in the story.
Sure. You know, yeah, it's the same thing.
yeah.
So, and part of the problem is with real life stuff, it's easy to say, oh, well, the actors aren't 16 or 15 or whatever they are. There's not that excuse in animation, right? Because there's no actor or actress, you know, besides the
But
voice.
then it makes it more okay, I guess, to a degree, because it's a drawing at that point.
Well, but like some people don't see it that way, you know, because they're going by the
and
look.
people just don't make sense.
I could
Well,
understand
they
that.
don't
Yeah,
make
there's
sense to me either, but
there's some people that might like it because they think it's an actual little girl, and that's the troubling part right there.
And see, and that's where, and see that, like, so this is the what this is like. I'm sure you remember this post. This is why I was so fucking on a holy crusade on that shit, because my experiences with the online community isn't a
She's
good
on a
one.
crusade to Jerusalem.
Right, yeah. It wasn't a good one, okay? I was seeing more and more of these people justifying pedophilia and justifying like the images of small kids and shit on Twitter, on PlayStation 3 back in the day. Like this shit pissed me off. And
Well-
and most of those people, you know what I mean? Like they had that same mindset too. And that's what really blurred the lines for me, was because you had these people saying, oh, this is an adorable character, but they were also the same people that were advocating for pedophilia. So like immediately my mind worked as, well,
You kind of
you like
smudged them
Lolly,
together.
you like Lolly,
Right.
you think it's so cute, you want to fuck it, and here you are also looking at child pornography. That's fucking disgusting. So to me,
Yeah,
in my
you-
mind, I'm thinking these are one and the same because that was my experience with
Sure.
these idiots.
just like you
You
can
kind of
easily
smudge it together.
you could easily find a couple of furries who are into actual bestiality and then assume that all furries are just into bestiality. They just don't want
Right.
to, you know, something
Exactly.
like that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
You know,
And-
sorry.
And so like my New Year's resolution has been trying to better myself mentally and try to like look at things more objectively than subjectively with my own opinion. So like I'm trying my best to not freak out over somebody telling me they want to fuck a lolly, and try, you know, and in my mind I've worked it out that they're kind of pedophilic, you know what I mean? But I'm trying not to be that way. So like that's why I was trying to have this conversation. Omega,
Yeah.
like that's the reason why I was asking that question.
Yeah, and the one that actually blocked me was that Titanfall princess. Is that your friend?
Yeah, she looks at it the same way that I did. So I don't
Yeah.
know if she will ever be willing to have that conversation on an honest level.
Some
Right.
people
Yeah,
won't,
it's-
you know,
so-
it is what it is.
I find it weird because I told her that no, I'm not into an actual little girl, and I sent her a link to there's an actual Twitter account that is advocating for pedophilia, and I
Yeah.
sent her that, and then she blocked me, and I was wondering, oh, whoa, okay, so real pedophilia people, well, you're gonna block me because I show you that, but fake, non-realistic lolis,
Right.
you're gonna go on a crusade for that?
Yeah. And see,
Well,
like,
that's my whole
and
thing. That's what I've.
and that's the hard part. That's really the hard part, bro. Is you have a lot of pedophiles that are using images that are like that make it easy for people like me to mush it together mentally. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So like it makes the lolly community look really fucking bad, even though they're not. And that was one of the things that like one of my closest friends had to tell me to calm down on, was because that's what I was doing. I was mushing it together. Like, and then Pete also made the good point of, would you rather them fuck children or do you want them to wank off to lollies? And he had a good point. Like, I can't argue that. Like, I'd
that's
rather
my
them
whole
wank
thing,
off to
right?
fucking lollies.
That's
Then,
why I'm
you know-
okay with lollies too. That's one of the reasons why I'm okay with lollies, because at least like some of those weirdos can just jerk it to that and
not
leave
hurt a
real
child,
kids
yeah.
alone.
Right.
That's why they,
For me-
in the same vein, the aversion to child sex dolls, which like I get completely, but I'd rather some pedophile
Oh no.
fuck a child sex doll than fuck an actual kid.
Well,
Right.
that too. Those, like child sex though, to me I think I would draw the line there. I don't think I would ever who would like that unless you make her look
Right.
like an anime character and you give her big ass eyes and like unrealistic features.
Right.
For me, also when it comes to this, is I sort of take the stance in the end. Obviously, these are all good arguments, but I also take the stance that it's a drawing people relax. Like that's where one of my stances go, I guess.
Well, and
Obviously, it might sound very
one
dismissive.
I think
That's
I think one
fine,
of the
but-
things that makes this so heated, and like I love Game of Thrones for providing me the perfect example, is that people will get in on anime because I mean I guess it's a little weirder because it's animated versus real stuff, but people don't talk about Game of Thrones like they talk about the same shit on anime. And I think that's what
Right.
makes this argument so heated, is because the anime
It's
people go
hypocrisy.
and they go, look here, man, here's a show that has literally every single thing that everybody's hated on anime about, and yet nobody's going around calling people
Right.
who like it pedophiles or that they're into torture or cutting
Deplorables.
guys' balls off or whatever it is, right? Or incest or whatever the argument is.
Yeah. You have
But
every
yeah,
right
you'll
to
go
make that,
after,
yeah.
but you'll go after anime for the exact same things, and I could easily, I mean, it irritates me. I just don't really care because I just don't care. But I could easily see becoming super agitated when shit like that happens on a regular
Right.
basis.
No, you're
So
absolutely
especially
right
with
to
how
feel that way, though.
especially with how mainstream Game of Thrones. It's not like Game of Thrones was some niche, show that a few
No, it was
hundred
like it's like
people
the
liked.
number. It's like the world. It's like literally.
Oh,
It's also
did we just lose Brem again? He just froze. Of course, when he was right in the middle of making his
also
point.
there is everyone loves it, especially Stephen King's It book, but there's a child sex thing at the end
Sure.
at the It
Yeah.
book, and it's like people love that, and it's like, oh, okay, does that mean their ex? See what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's why I'm more loose and just more dismissive when it comes to people going after fiction.
Right.
Like I know that may not be as good as people think it is, but it's just like,
Well, no,
I'm
that's-
sorry,
no.
dude. I just
This is one of my big things about all. I mean, regardless of whatever any argument is about all of this shit, right? People really need to get it through their head that fiction is divorced from reality, like for real. And there are porn is a really good example of this. There's lots of things that people like in porn that they would never do in real life. 50 Shades of Grey. It's the most popular fictional media ever produced on the face of the planet ever. And yet, if you follow the same logic of people that say, if you're into lolly, you must be a pedophile, or if you're into something with incest, then you must want to fuck your sister, or whatever it is, then by that same logic, every single one of those women wants to be fucking tied up and practically raped
beat
while they're beaten, whatever, And
Yeah,
I don't
'cause
think that's
fantasy is
not the
different
case.
from
Not that many
reality.
women are into BDSM. Like, I don't know how many are, but not that many. I mean, how
Here's
how
the,
many?
It's small in fact that all the women who are into BDSM know each other.
But what's the? How many copies of I think enough copies sold of 50 Shades of Grey the book that there was enough for one out of every other woman in America.
Who didn't buy it?
So every other woman there were enough books sold that every other woman in America bought one of those books. That's unreal, dude.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm back.
That's why
All right,
I'm,
Brem's back.
That's why I'm very dismissive to this, like, a whole argument. It's not dismissive, like, in a bad way, but it's just like, man, I don't want to argue over logistics of a fictional thing. Like, oh
But-
my god, this fictional character, my god.
That's why I'm saying, like, for me, like, there's a lot of people out there that's like me. All right, there are millions of people like me that have drawn that line together, and that is what I'm trying not to do anymore. Like,
And
I'm
I'll
trying
argue
to, like,
those people regardless, because, like,
Huh?
to me, like, and I'll argue with those people regardless, because, like, it's like, you're putting so much stock into this fictional character, and you think, like, if you look at Japan, like, Japan's like the least pedophile rates over there. So it's like this whole
Right.
correlation has equal causation to reality. That's the thing.
and see, but like, when you have people like Omega and in our community, like, me and him were butting heads on this forever, right? Because I didn't know, like, the actual reasoning behind the mentality of some of these people. And when you don't have that information, it's easier to make an argument against it than it is for
Make
it.
assumptions.
And
Yeah.
make assumptions, yeah.
Yep.
So, like, instead of me assuming shit like I used to, I would rather not do that anymore and try to actually come up, like, with a good reason for half the shit like that happens within these communities. But, like, with Omega being able to explain it a little bit better, so that way I'm not making those fucking justifications or drawing the parallels like I was. Because, like I said, everybody's experiences are different when it comes to online, and mine were really bad. Especially back in the PS3 days, you know what I mean? Like, PlayStation Home, one of the things that nobody wants to talk about is the reason why that service is no longer, was the mass amount of pedophiles that were going into these rooms picking up on kids.
Yeah.
You know? And they all had female lolly characters and shit. So, like, it was easier for me to draw that parallel because of my experience. Not so much what was said to me, but what my experiences were. And that's why I was trying to do away with that, because I was getting tired of being in that mentality all the time, judging others and being a dick to others, and, you know, being on my holy crusade, you know. So, like, I'm trying to mellow that shit out. You know what I mean?
Oh, there was also that problem with Nintendo with the 3DS when they had that PicTok chat feature on it.
Yeah.
There was actual pedophiles like looking for little kids in malls and stores and stuff.
Yeah, it's what was his name that went to jail for it? He was a bigger YouTuber too. Something Chan or Chan.
Oni-chan.
I can't remember his. You know who I'm talking about? Omega, the Asian kid. He was like an Asian kid that died there. Yeah, okay. He went to jail because of that shit.
Wait. You
So-
don't. No. You don't mean Onision.
No,
It's
No,
not- okay.
no.
But
Asian
funny,
kid, dog.
yeah,
Asian.
I
kid.
know, but like just the story was like, wait a second, that does sound like Onision, but yeah, he's not Asian, so
That would imply he's smart if he was Asian.
yeah, you know, fucking Onision, man, God, that's a name I
God,
haven't
honestly-
heard in forever.
Yeah, but here's the thing: Chris Hansen's gone after him hard, or is going after him hard.
Who's Chris
Is
Hansen?
that the best way to know, like, when you fucked up on the internet, is when Chris Hansen's knocking on your door?
Chris Hansen literally talked about, like, he has, like, the FBI is actually investigating Onisan.
Oh,
on them.
man, Chris Hansen. I remember I dropped a video about that dude Hubcap one time. He was trying to entrap someone I knew, like, by telling people his cousin was like 19 and stuff when she's like 12, and trying to get them to flirt with her or something like that. This whole
Yeah, that's
mess.
creepy.
It was creepy. I'm not gonna say it's what it is, but we all know. That happened. So someone recorded him a Skype call trying to explain what he was doing, and we took the footage and we spliced it to like I spliced it to Chris Hansen, like saying "take a seat."
Jesus Christ.
My favorite parts about those videos though is when they try to run.
Oh yeah, like I threw Tourette's guy. I threw Tourette's guy's voice. Where this pedophile tries to leave and the cops grab him, like, get on the ground, get on the ground. The voice goes like, "Ah, damn it, shit."
That's the thing about all this is like Onision. I'm surprised Onision has not been like caught for pedophilia yet, because that dude has some sus ass fucking shit going on,
Yeah.
like for years at this
Yeah, I
point.
agree. It's pretty sus as fuck, dude.
Didn't Line Maker get in trouble for pedophilia?
Dude, his career got ruined, dog.
Dude, I think he's in jail now.
No, he's got his channel back up. He came out of jail like last year, I think.
So it was confirmed they did it, not just like a.
Oh no,
he
he himself admitted to it in hopes that
The court would appeal.
the court in that country would appeal to it because they are not the same laws as they are over here in the U.S.
America.
and Australia. Like even Australia has some pretty strict laws, but I guess the parents somehow got him extradited in Australia, I think. And he ended up in jail there for X amount of time, and then he got out on like good behavior or some shit, I think. I don't know. I'm surprised he's alive, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, those guys usually get killed.
Yeah.
I'm surprised, like, just
They
man.
should have put him in a cell with an alligator or.
I'm just waiting for like to see my phone. Onision's been arrested. And it's like, oh shit.
I'm waiting for that day too, bro. It's gonna happen.
I mean, there's
Gonna
the
happen.
amount of videos that Keemstar has, like, actively going after Onision, showing now how he's like pedophilia, like shit,
Dude,
and how like he was raping
Keem-
underage girls.
right. Keem's been on that shit. Blair White's been on that shit.
Shoe's been on that
Uh,
shit.
Shoe on Head's been on that shit.
I think even Sargon did some shit on that too.
Sargon did some shit a while back. Yeah, dude. A lot of people's called it out.
Because it's not
That's
good in Onision. It's
He's
just
all, I'm not a pedophile. I was just telling them how their bodies were. I'm like, what?
the problem with this is Onision also was. I remember during 2016, Onision was a very big like Trump guy. Like, I mean, borderline. Like, he literally said, like, I think he said, if you support Donald Trump, you're an evil rapist and you're racist. And like, oh Jesus! And now you find out this shit's going on with him. It's like, oh
Hot-
man, the webs
Pot
believe.
meat kettle. Yep.
Yeah, that's some pretty intense shit. I'm not gonna lie. That was. Dude.
Oh, it's
Like,
just the
layers
same as
of
all those.
irony.
How many male feminists have been caught? You know, either being wife beaters or fucking, you know, raping chicks and shit like that. Like that's
Yeah.
God. For a while there, it was
Hi,
every
honey.
other
I
week.
got you some like this really good stuff that smells good on a napkin. You want to smell it for me real quick? It's pumpkin spice.
Is it possible these feminist women are marrying these men that are like this because they want to say, "Oh yeah, I'm a victim of rape," and
Oh, I'm
they
sure.
don't-
Sure.
like,
Why
they-
not?
like,
Also,
they don't
the
wanna-
fact that-
they don't want to get raped, but they want to.
Also,
They want to have a
fact-
ground to stand on for what their beliefs are.
Also, the
Right.
fact that these people are snakes, like male feminist guys who do this type of shit, they are
As
they are
every other
snakes
guy in the
grass.
world knew before.
Like, dude, Peterson and Joe Rogan, they go
Oh, that
hard on.
Bro, that was the greatest, dude, because they said what every regular straight guy has been thinking the entire time. It's like, we know exactly what you're doing, you sneaky little fucks, and we can't call you out on it because then we're the
Because
same
women
sneaky
call us the
fucks.
bad
Yeah,
guys.
we'll be the same sneaky fuck, or at least be seen as the same sneaky fucks you are. And it's like, but we know exactly what you're doing, you little shits, and knock this stuff off. And then it comes out
know
that
the
all these
game.
guys are fucking raping chicks and, you know, or whatever. What God, man, I want to look up because Sargon had the year-end video, right?
The
that
mi-
had like
the
the
mi-
list of them.
All,
But
and
he
it was
can't-
like, I think it was like an hour long.
Oh, and he had to keep postponing it, right? He kept postponing it because new ones kept coming out, and it's just like, God, man. Oh, thank God for the internet.
It's like, there's so much irony to the fact that people who go on moral crusades and are anti-Trump and do all this type of shit and are male feminists are all guilty of the thing they accuse Trump of. There's like layers of
it's-
irony to it.
it's the those who can't control themselves try to control others.
Yeah.
And actually, Sargon just had a video about this, and yeah, it's absolutely fucking right. People who try and control others, it's exactly what it is. They have trouble controlling themselves, and they think they'll be able to either control themselves better or make it not matter if they can control others to enough of an extent. And yeah, it never works ever. Fuck. Yeah, I do not like
Yeah,
this
I'm-
map. This is the
I'm
one
kicking
map in
fucking-
Call of Duty I'm not a fan of.
Dude, I'm kicking ass as Yoda right now. Fucking kicking some ass, dude.
Man. So yeah, that's fun.
Yep.
Man, yeah. I mean,
Fun,
we
fun
had
for
a
the
this
whole
is a very
family.
good discussion.
Yeah.
Bring your kids.
For your kids. This
Kid
show's good for the
friendly.
whole family.
YouTube approved.
No, this you should you need. By the way, you
And next week we'll be on TikTok, you guys.
by the way, we need.
Oh, guys, come on. Don't say that. Come on. I'm on TikTok now. Come on.
I'm
Yeah.
just kidding, bro.
We need to start doing
I am.
disclaimers.
I got over 28K followers over there.
Oh, really? Nice.
That's why I haven't done YouTube in a while because I'm growing my TikTok channel.
That's cool though, dude. That's
Oh,
great.
fuck this little vehicle.
No, but get on TikTok actually because everybody's moving there. All the famous people are going over there now.
I can't wait for those Kylie Jenner TikToks. Rise and shine, and then makes a shirt out of it and sells millions of dollars. Man, I really wish I was capable of doing that.
Yeah.
It's almost magical to me.
Magical.
Yes.
Fuck.
Also in this game, I'm going 50 and 24. So
Hey, is there? Do you guys know if there's a site that's better than GPU Boss where you can type in the cards and? Because I go to GPU Boss, dude, and I cannot get any good AMD updated AMD information. Like they are all NVIDIA almost.
it's because the Nvidia is better, Rim.
But what's the point of you calling your site GPU Boss if you're not willing to go both sides of the fence?
Because that's racist.
What exactly are you looking for? Like specs?
I wanted to see on a numerical value on the differences between the 5700 XT and the 1080 Ti. That's what I was trying to go for.
Guru
Like,
3D would probably have a good one.
Guru 3D. Okay.
You want to see 50 Shades of Grey?
Does that dude keep camping behind the barrel?
Probably.
Yes, dude. People, this map
there's
is
a big
nothing
delay.
but camping. So
Pete, remember that EFAP where is that guy who said Star Wars is great because you get to look at women?
yes, I do.
That was my
Jesus
favorite thing.
Christ.
It's like, yeah, man, you call us who hate Star Wars now sexist. Jesus.
So Navi's coming this year.
yeah, boy.
With Navi, sorry.
Well, Navi's already out
Uh,
technically with
50.
the 5700, but the 5800s are coming out.
5950 XT, the RX 5950, the RX 5800 XT.
Is Navi a massive upgrade? Like better than
It's
1080?
pretty
From
good.
what
It's
I
pretty good.
understand, yeah, it's
Yeah,
supposed to be. But
It's a good architecture upgrade. Yeah.
Like how much better is it going to be in the 1080 Ti?
Well, we don't have real numbers yet, but the 5800 XT, right, is supposed to be, well, from the leaked numbers, it's 15% better than the
1080 Ti.
2080.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But again, those are leaked numbers. There's no backing. There's no independent verification. So yeah, we you know
Yeah.
take them. Like I said, I am the biggest fucking AMD fanboy there is, and I'm saying take that shit with a fat grain of salt, because you know yeah,
grain.
we all know how it goes with the leaked performance numbers. But hey, if it's anything even close to there, with a you know, like if they could launch it within 5% of a 2080 at the price point of say maybe like $700,
Yeah.
like that'd be a killer, because now you're actually competing and you've got them on price, and yeah, that would be a great win for AMD. So that's what I'm hoping for, either plus or minus 5% with a price range of about $700 or maybe $800, and
fair
yeah,
enough.
you know.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, but who knows, right? It could be just as good as the leaked numbers, right? But yeah,
Maybe.
just don't count on it.
Press X to doubt.
Hey, guys, how much longer will we be doing this live stream? I'm not complaining. I'm gonna go take a break and kind of get my butt a rest, sitting in the chair.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Depends. How much
Go
I do.
Yeah, I
for it,
mean,
dude, you're good.
I
So
can't
I
really
would-
tell you because we never know with the overtime. So you know, maybe another hour or so.
Okay.
Depends how much
but-
hindsight.
I'll be back. I'll be back. You know, just want to end while I was. Yeah.
For
No,
sure.
you're good, dude. Go for it. Yeah, you're fine.
I've seen.
Also, P, you want to say something hilarious real quick?
What's that?
You know Destiny, not the game, but the YouTuber?
I don't know him, but I have heard of him. Yes.
He's an actual cuck. Like, not even kidding.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I actually follow him on Twitch and everything. He does. I find his arguments interesting.
He said he actually admitted he was a cuck, and I'm like, dude.
Oh yeah,
you
he
shouldn't.
did.
You should not. Why? You know people are gonna make fun of you. Like people already call lefties cucks, and it's like, man, you're kind of putting in shit.
Have
Well,
you
like-
checked out his Instagram pictures? He's with like 3 or 5 girls at a time.
Yeah, and I'm pretty
Maybe
sure
not
his
hate
wife's
him, but-
his
Getting that
doesn't
mad
Destiny have a
pussy, yo.
kid? Doesn't Destiny have a kid or no?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
does.
Wait, so
Yeah, he
he's
does.
banging him and his wife or whatever, banging all
No,
these.
he
women
has
across
an
the
ex-wife, and
Yeah, I
That's
think
his
the kids with his ex.
Yikes, dude. Gotta feel bad for that kid.
Yeah, that is kind of a yikes. God damn.
Because democracy is non-negotiable.
Rather be dead than red. I love that meme with the robot head. It's a better alternative to being a communist.
The robot destroyed the AI because it was anti-communist.
No,
Like, I just said Liberty
pro-communist,
Prime.
right?
No, it was anti-communist, the robot, and it's just like,
Oh, no, yeah, the one that got destroyed was anti. Yeah.
and it was just a picture of Liberty Prime. Rather be dead than red.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
so who are you guys voting for this election?
Trump, come
I'm
on
voting
now.
for someone.
Who the
Trump.
fuck would I vote on
I'm
the other
voting for
side?
no one.
Yeah,
I'm gonna vote
Elizabeth
for
Warren.
Andrew Yang. He's gonna give me $1,000 a month.
Who?
Andrew Yang.
God.
I mean, honestly, he's not even that bad.
Well, what compared to the rest of the guys in there? Fucking A.
Like he's not bad.
I
Like
want
he's
Jill
still-
Stein.
he's still a rotten.
I think
He's still a rotten commie, but Jesus.
I don't know about that. I think he does make good points though about like how like maybe not the robots and cars because we've talked about that before, but a lot of retail workers and all of them are going to be sent into the gutters. And he makes a point that we're gonna have a massive amount of jobs lost
Yeah,
with
but-
automation.
Yeah.
Obviously not cars, like cars and truck drivers, but like
You go
other
Andrew Yang,
jobs.
If you go Andrew Yang, you can afford every single brand new graphic card you could ever want. Come on, you know you want that sweet new graphic card.
Yeah, but the problem is his solution, just throw money, is not that much of a solution. He does like
Yeah,
he
I
has a
know.
point though. He
Yeah,
does
I
have
know.
a
It's,
point, though.
it's just a big meme that I like to throw around.
I know. Like he does have a point though, where he said like there's gonna be a massive amount of jobs lost, and people need to be ready for it. And he has that. He says $1,000 a month is the solution to that.
Yeah, I don't think
And I'm
so.
not sure if it. I'm not sure if that is, but he does have a point though, that there'll be a massive amount of jobs lost.
Yeah, but there'll also be a massive amount of jobs gained, and I don't think.
we don't know that.
No, we do.
No, we don't. You
Yes, we
can't
do.
predict the future, Pete.
Dude, you are predicting the future just as much. And here's the thing, right? All those robots. Are
Yeah,
gonna
but I'm-
require, all those robots are going to require upkeep. So
You
right
got a
there,
point.
that's a huge amount of jobs gained from robotization. But second off, I don't think we will see. Here's the thing with because they keep saying autonomous cars are coming, and it's like
That's not coming. We already talked
no.
about that. yeah.
And this is the thing, right? There are so many jobs that we think are simple because humans do them easily, but they're actually unbelievable. Like think about what a waiter does, like what they actually have to do, like at a technical level. All the different things that they're juggling, like making sure you get, you check on people at the right time.
lot of-
you go for their food at the right time. All this other shit.
Yeah.
It's not like this is the thing, right? If it was easy, then we would have already automated it by now because every easy job
think-
to do has already been automated.
Waiters will probably be automated though, because here's the thing: a lot of this, like restaurants and sushi places I've been to nowadays, they have automated computers where you pick your orders out, and then they have someone deliver you the food.
Yeah, but I mean there's still a job there though. So instead of
Yeah.
4 servers, they'll have 2. Okay, but that's not some huge shit. That's not every serving job disappearing off the face of the earth forever. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
no.
Like, I don't think the impact from automation is going to be as bad as most people think it's going to be. Coupled with the fact that there will be lots of jobs to be gained, and a lot of those are going to be a lot more technical and knowledge-based jobs versus things like serving. The benefits might actually outweigh the negatives. We don't know though. I mean, you know, you never know. That's the thing. Like you said, you can't really predict the future. So who the fuck knows with any of this shit? But
Well, I mean, everybody thought that the job that I'm doing right now in slots, like, they thought that as soon as we went full paper in and paper out, that we were all going to lose our jobs. They
What
cut out
job? What's your
maybe
job again? Sorry.
four people a shift, maybe.
Don't you repair like casino things though? Repairing's different though. You can't just have a robot do repairs.
No, you don't. No, okay, but you're not understanding what I'm trying to get at here. Okay. When I first did this job, it was coin in, coin out, which means it required someone to pull the bag from a jet sort, you know, tie it off, put it on a shelf. It also required us to take that same bag off the shelf and put it into a hopper, and that's inside of a machine. So when people, when we first discovered that paper in and paper out was going to be a standard, there was this mass hysteria that every single person was going to lose their job. That it's going to take only one person to do the same job as 18 people, and they were wrong. Like, they were dead wrong, because the printers that do the paper in and paper out requires a lot more hands to be involved than it was with coin. They could have actually done the coin job with the amount of people we have now, right? So what I'm saying and what he's saying is it's going to always require people to maintain these set of robots. And it might even take just as many people that are currently employed with these positions to keep up with the demand of people.
Yeah, but
And
I mean,
so it's not, huh?
That means
Sorry.
like more like it's gonna. That's what you're saying. There's gonna be a transitional like to a tech economy.
well, but not
True.
as much as you would think though.
Right.
Because like
I think
like
there'll
Brent
be a
was saying,
massive
even if
transition in tech
you
economy.
you get rid of the coins and you think by going to paper you're going to reduce the need for human labor, and maybe that's true to some extent, but those printers need to be fed with paper and all sorts of other shit.
Mhm.
So not as many people are lost as you might, or jobs are lost as you might think.
Right.
Sure.
Because the actual number that they were guessing that they would have been able to save money on when it came to the casino industry was somewhere in the billions. Like, it was a lot of money that they would stand to save if they went paper only. And now that we're paper only, they've only ever saved maybe at best hundreds of thousands, not billions, not even close to millions, but hundreds of thousands of dollars instead.
Yeah.
So, I mean, on paper, it sounds way worse than usually how it translates into reality.
Sure.
Because, like, for instance, the McDonald's where I live are now pretty much self-automated, where like you can literally just walk in and order from a fucking menu that's there. They said that there was going to be no cashiers by
Obviously,
this
there's
time
still gonna
with
be
this setup.
cashiers.
There are like, dude, there's like 4 cashiers still
Or
that
same
are
thing
just
with
cashiering on top of the monitors. So
Same
Obviously,
thing
there's
with
still gonna be
self-checkout.
cashiers.
You know,
There's
same
still
thing
gonna
with
be
self-checkout.
cashiers.
People thought that
Yeah.
self-checkout lanes were going to completely eliminate the need for checkers, and it really hasn't. There's only a few less now than there were before.
yep.
Yeah, but you gotta admit that they're saving money by having one guy be in charge of like how many, like 10 or 5
Sure.
of the automated ones.
Sure, but they still haven't gotten rid of human checking lanes, though. I don't think I've seen a single place
Well,
they'll have.
that's gonna be slowly, very slowly, because you know the last thing you want is to make the people kind of force them into a whole new system without them understanding it.
Sure.
Well,
Yeah.
see, like, I used to be that guy. I used to be in one of the blue box buildings that I was in charge of the self-checkout. And I'm going to tell you right now, it required more than one person almost all the time trying
Yeah,
to
it
get those
seems-
stupid things working. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
the Rayleigh's by my house has 4 self-checkout lanes, and dude, yeah, it's pretty difficult for one person to keep even that many self-checkout lanes going.
Yep.
Yeah, my girlfriend's laughing.
Yeah,
it's, Yeah.
But the thing is, a lot of there's gonna be less waiters though, and all that stuff now. And
You think so? Like that's
yeah,
what they.
I mean,
Because
I'm already
that's what
seeing
people
that
have been
here.
saying about what we're talking about, and that didn't turn out to be right.
I mean, I'm already seeing that here where I live. Almost like I've like a McDonald's, like you talked about McDonald's. There's like no, like you don't go up there to take your order. You put a machine in, and you most of the time you literally pay on like debit card or whatever, or Visa, whatever you use.
Right. Which I agree with you. Like we have that here too, but
How long until those
it
companies make that
requires-
a standard?
it requires. I think it already is becoming a standard. If Arizona has that, dude, there's a good chance that almost everybody else has that.
Yeah,
'Cause
but
Arizona is usually like the last on the fucking union to adopt any of these new technologies ever. So
This is gonna be like a 100-year plan because they gotta let all the boomers die so all the zoomers can have all their robots.
they have the
mean,
boomer
You
exterminations
are
ready.
not wrong. You are not wrong.
Because
guess
the
here's-
problem is a boomer's not gonna want to, all these
yeah.
robots. Where's the people? Where's
Yeah,
the
they can't
people
figure it
help?
out. Yeah. Yeah, they'd be lost.
I mean, we're all talking about a generation of people that literally flipped their shit blue because they had to pump their own gas in Oregon.
Oh, I seen those videos. They're hilarious.
I remember that shit. God, that was hilarious.
What's that mean? You said Sanders remembers or something like that?
Pepper's Farm remembers?
Yes. That's all I can think
Pepperidge
of.
Farm. Jesus
Pepperidge
Christ.
Farm.
Anyways, guys,
I bet he doesn't even know the full context of that joke. He just knows it from Family Guy.
anyways, guys, I'm gonna bounce. I'm really hungry, and I'm a big fat boy, and I'm really hungry, so I gotta go.
It happens.
All right, Omega.
All right, it was
Later,
fun. I'm
Omega.
sorry. I'm sorry if I seem like a dig when I'm texting. I know it looks
Ah,
that
dude, we're
way.
good.
I know. I'm terrible at communicating while texting. But
No,
anytime
you're
you
good,
guys want to
dude.
pull me in, you can pull me in now.
Yeah, for sure.
All right,
man.
bro. Sounds
All
good.
right.
Welcome back, sir.
All right, nice to see y'all. All right, guys.
Later.
All right, bye.
No, but I do think like it'll be a slow transition over time, or waiters will be not be like fast, like it's all start fast food, like fast food places will,
Certainly fast food, yeah, and that's gonna be a big hit. But
and even restaurants, like
yeah,
restaurants will start
are a lot
moving
more
to tech bait.
complicated. I mean, there's certain things you can eliminate with robots, but I don't think everything. Like taking orders, yeah, that's an easy one. But actually, like,
Delivering, obviously no, like
yeah,
maybe
'cause, we don't have the technology. Rails or some silly shit like.
yeah.
I still-
like, we don't
I
have
still remember
technology for that.
When people were getting all hyped because they were delivering a Chipotle burrito by drone, and yet I have to, I can't just order a drone delivered burrito. Like there's still Uber Eats and shit. So yeah, this shit's gonna
I
take a
think they're-
while. And
I
here's
think
the
they're
thing.
always gonna find a way to balance it out, though.
That's the thing. Yeah, not only will there be the gain in jobs because there's now things that either need to be maintained or whatever it is, but also new. Like, just think, the same exact arguments were being made when cars were going to take over for horses. Like, oh my God, what are all these people going to do who make horseshoes or who
Do you have
do
actual
this?
documents of this, or are you just making assumptions here?
No, I'm not making any assumptions. Like you can read, like I think news articles from that era and stuff, and they all the same exact stuff. It's going to put so many people out of business, and yet the adoption of cars opposed to horses has created far more jobs. I mean, just think of how many mechanics and gas stations and road construction and everything from the very simple stereo installation or window tinting or fucking painting or stuff that's really not that technical, all the way up to designing repairs and diagnostics and shit like that. So yeah, I don't think the push for automation is going to be as bad as people, especially because it's not going to happen nearly as fast. Everybody has this post-apocalyptic scenario where within 10 years, everybody's job has been lost to a robot, and it's like, dude, we cannot
Never
even.
said that.
Well, no, I know you're not saying that, but a lot of people are, and it's like, God, man, they can't even get automated cars to run right. They told us that shit was coming within a few years, and they are not even close.
To being ready, yeah. I mean, how much power do they
What's
lose
up,
just going
Trenton?
from point A to point B? I mean,
Problem is, cars are more complex though than something like someone taking your order.
well, they said the same thing about self checkout, though. Blue.
Yeah.
Like they said the same exact thing about checkout. They're like, oh, well, once the self checkout takes off, and then it's taken off. We're about what they started doing checkouts. I want
At
to say
least-
10 years now.
Yeah, I was gonna say at
10?
least 5 to 8 years, probably more like 10. when
Maybe
they first
10.
started.
Yeah, and they started that off in New York first. Like of all places, they started in New York first, and it took off really well. But it didn't end, 30 people's jobs out of that retail outlet. In fact, it probably created more jobs for just the upkeep alone.
So I don't know,
Maybe.
but like you can't predict the future, so we'll have to see.
And that's another thing. Like these new innovations when it comes to technologies, all it does is creates more industry. You go into self checkouts, for instance.
Sure, but I'm
there's
talking
more
about-
industry to IT tech than anything else now because of it.
Yeah, and I'm basically I'm more making the argument that more like middle like what would you class those jobs as, like waiters and all that stuff?
Low skill.
I'm saying that like I'm making the argument that more low skill jobs are gonna
Sure.
go.
Yes, but that's how it always has been. I mean, like I said, all the easy jobs have already been automated, and they were done so a long ass time ago. I mean, dude, just look at cars, man. They used to have to hand fabricate every part that went into a car, every single one of them. They had to
The metal sheeting was hand stamped.
exactly hand bending the metal sheeting, hand casting the internal parts, all hand assembling it, all of it, and then automation took over for that, and there were a lot of jobs lost that were good jobs because they were either dangerous or required some technical skill for like beating out fenders or something like that. But
Yeah, but
the
I'd
amount
also
of
say
jobs
that that's, like,
gained by cars as a whole way outweighed what was lost to automation.
I would say it's more safer now. I guess making a car, it's more safer. I would say, and that's maybe better priority. At least in my opinion, like it's more
No, you're
safer
right.
than something dangerous like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And obviously, safety isn't saying, something's safe, therefore it's good. Obviously, maybe that's not always a good thing, or whatever you want to call it. But
Right.
I'm just saying, for something like that, I would definitely say like if it's more safer, I say it's better because of
Okay.
that.
That's fair. Yeah.
It's not always perfect, but whatever,
Yeah, as long as it
Life
works,
ain't
right?
perfect, man. If that's one thing I think people need to learn more often, it's life isn't perfect. Like, man,
Nope. And the fact that these little fuckers have had a better growing up with like modern technologies than
Oh
we
my
did.
God,
is
I know,
enough to
right?
annoy the shit out of me, and they're just squandering it. Dude, you know what I would have killed for going to school, dude? I would have killed for a fucking smartphone for like $50.
yeah, but
right?
I had a fucking pager, dog. Like,
when it comes out though, I'm for more like a regulated smartphone type stuff, not like government regulated, but parent regulated, more of like kids having phones.
yeah, sure, absolutely, I agree with that.
And like me and Pete talked about this before. Like I'm not saying the kids should not have no phones at all, but I think one of the points that could be made for kids having phones is, for example, let's say a kid like no phone like past 9 o'clock in their room. I think that's perfectly reasonable.
Remember when I got my
Maybe.
first smartphone? It's an Android.
Oh shit.
Like,
Wait,
like
you
you
guys?
see what I mean?
Oh, never mind.
Or- Like do y'all get what I mean when I say that?
Yeah, I got it.
Like I don't think that's like hiding technology from them. I'm saying that's perfectly reasonable for them to say like, oh, no phone past 9 o'clock or something like that before you go to bed to protect your eyes and all that stuff, so you sleep better.
Well, again, I think one of the big problems with, and people lump this shit, it's, the smartphone is an even bigger umbrella, but one of the umbrellas is social media. But the big problem with either, smartphone access or social media is not the fact that they're, because there's nothing wrong with kids chatting with each other on Facebook or fucking sharing pictures or fucking anything like that. The
Right.
problem comes
Memes.
with other things that happen, like the bullying and ostracization. I know I'm saying
Yeah.
that wrong.
That's about right.
Um,
No, you're
but
about
any-
right.
but anyway.
Ostracization.
But my solution to that, and I wouldn't even say limiting. I mean, you can, plenty of parents try and limit their kids from internet access or video games, to a certain amount per day or not after a certain time, whatever. Fine, that's all good.
I think
But
that's reasonable.
Fair enough. But for me, the bigger thing is that doesn't even really matter to me. My whole thing is I wish parents would teach their kids more. See, and like this is the thing with social media, right? So a kid gets a video taken of him doing something stupid. It gets posted on Facebook, and then every kid in his school is laughing at him, and that's like a That's a really bad thing to happen to a kid at that age, right? What needs to happen is parents need to be way more proactive and understanding in explaining to their kid, just like, look, buddy, I know this sucks, right? But what you need to get is that every single one of your friends and the people laughing at you has done something just as stupid as this, if not stupider. It just didn't get caught on video.
Or they'll
Right.
eventually get caught doing something stupid on video.
Yeah, or and shit like that. It's like, we're not. And part of the problem is that we don't really know how to navigate social media ourselves.
It's
just
very
like,
new. It's like
just
a
like
very
with
new-
everything. Yeah, not only is it new, but humans aren't perfect, and we take a long time to learn how shit works and how we should use it and all that.
Like, how long do we
So-
find out? We took us like 40 years to find out the health effects of cigarettes.
Right?
So yeah, it's like one of the big things. It's we're not illustrating enough to our kids that, man, most of the shit that's going to damage them psychologically within social media, it's all either lies or exaggeration or people commenting about something that they themselves have done or will do at the very least.
It doesn't help that we have like a kind of a cancel culture situation now, though.
That certainly does not help either.
We're like saying something stupid on the internet now can cost you a job, especially like remember the guy who donated $1 million to charity when he could have easily took that $1 million for himself and ran away, basically.
Yeah, and they shredded him.
They
on the
posted
internet.
something about something he posted when he was 16. And I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, dude.
Yeah, it's some shit, man.
Man, if I had access to some of the crazy shit I said on my Twitter, oh Jesus, back when I had it.
I think that's one of the real advantages that people our age have, me and Brem especially, is that we grew up quite old, way before any of this shit happened. So, but we were young enough when it did start happening that we understand both worlds about it.
I think
Yeah, like when I was a kid,
that's right.
if you did something stupid, yeah, the people who saw it laughed at you and they maybe gossiped about it a little bit, but it didn't end up a video on YouTube.
No.
But it wasn't too much longer after high school that if that had happened, it would have been up on YouTube.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's going to be one of the
And
big
not to mention, like-
transitions.
And not to mention, like, nowadays, especially, like, they don't let things go nowadays, right?
No.
Like, nowadays, that shit is forever. Like, whatever you did is forever. Shit that I
I said some
did in
crazy
high
shit.
school, most people are like, what?
Yeah, you forgot about
Like,
it.
what are you talking about?
Yeah,
oh,
there's no
yeah, now I remember. You're
Yeah,
like,
there's no picture
Or
or
you
video.
remember
No.
cringe.
yeah. Because,
Yeah.
like, I think kids nowadays, now that they see cancer culture, they see
He said
what
cancer.
FCW
That was a Freudian slip if there ever was one.
Well, you know what I mean, though. Like the kids, they
yep.
see it on social media. I mean, we can't say that cancel culture isn't a thing because they see it through the drama videos here on YouTube. They see it
Yep.
through Twitter. They see it through
And the people
all the
who
opinion
deny
channels,
and
and
the
they
people
see
who
it on live streams.
and the people who deny cancel culture are the people doing it and think it'll never be turned to them.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, this is one of those transitions. It's going to happen a whole bunch of times where people get canceled after they were part of cancel culture before enough people realize it's like, yeah, dude, this shit's not going to work because everybody does this shit. Nobody
You see
is
some
a saint.
American progressives all the time, by the way. Not to call you Americans.
Yeah,
Bitch, you're an
Canada's not
American
exactly
too. You're born over here,
blame-free,
boy.
bruh. Yeah.
You're
but, like-
born in this country, bitch.
The argument
I
could
know.
be made that Canada's worse, so I don't think people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones there.
No, but it's like when it comes to that, like like for example, I think. Fuck, give me a minute. You continue.
You all right there, buddy? You okay?
Right?
No, I'm not. No, I remember now. On Reddit, I remember I was having an argument over cancel culture with someone who's progressive. Like, oh, notice how only people who complain about cancel culture, and then he just named a bunch of right-wing subreddits, and it's like, oh, dude, wow. and I had to explain to him how like tons of progressives have been canceled, and he's like, "Oh, those people were bad anyways." Like this guy, I literally got this guy to say ContraPoints was an anti-trans bad person.
Yeah. Well, that's the only route they can go down. That's the
like,
problem with purity
dude.
spirals.
It's like ContraPoints who makes videos and literally called people who support Donald Trump's Nazis is now got hit by cancel culture and is considered anti-trans, even though she's made videos supporting trans and she's trans herself. You know what I mean? It's like, wow.
Throw out a big word that everyone gets mad about, and then everyone has to ignore.
Because ContraPoint, she said that she doesn't, because she's like,
don't play their game.
Whatever you want to say. Like she said that she said, I think was it that she doesn't understand some of the new trans stuff. When she transitioned, she just wanted to be a girl. Versus like some of these people are trans and they want to be Zers.
Yeah, or a fucking dog, or yeah.
And that's all he or she said. That's all like she said, and she got murdered for it. Like she had to get rid of her Twitter, and she was anti-trans, evil. You know, she kills children in her basement, all that.
Live by the sword, die by the sword.
I think a lot of times people say, "Oh, you're anti-trans or anti-gay," because they're trying to shut down your argument.
Yeah,
that's what that is.
And the most simplest counter usually is the most effective, and mine is usually where am I anti anything? And they usually shut up. They don't have anything or say anything that could counter.
To me, it's like it's hilarious. So it's like, and I'll defend ContraPoints though, because she's like she doesn't deserve to get fucking canceled, even though I do think she said some bad things. Like I don't think she deserves that.
Yeah, I agree. It's stupid.
Yeah,
it's like I will stand and defend ContraPoints because if I don't, no one's gonna stand and defend me if it happens to me or what. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Well, I mean, how many people have we come across since doing the game talk that were sort of SJW that we had as special guests? Like, even though we tore him up in the fucking chat, like, I wouldn't want to fucking silence him. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want him to be like not able to say the stupid shit he says.
Especially because it's funny.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So like, that's how I look at things. Like I may not agree or disagree. I mean, we may disagree or agree, but I would never want you to like not have a platform to go to. And I think that's the major downfall with cancel culture in general. Is by nature, it's shutting people down. It's making sure that people don't have a platform. And I think that's wrong, especially if you're somebody who claims that freedom of speech is something that should be valued. And that's one of the biggest hypocrisies about cancel culture is they think that because they have the freedom of speech, it's their right to be a cancel culture. And it's like, so you're telling me like it's not okay to be a communist, but it's okay to have communist ideas and treat everybody like I am. What? Like, it's super fucking self-canceling, dude. It's dumb.
Doesn't cancel culture also like dehumanize?
Oh, dude, they go above and beyond. Yeah.
It's the most dehumanizing thing ever that you as a human are never allowed to make any mistake ever. Otherwise, you are forever shunned from whatever it is, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, you know, whatever. Like, God, man, of all the things that are dehumanizing, I cannot think of anything more dehumanizing than that. Because if there's one thing that humans always do, it's make fucking mistakes, change their mind, you know, shit like that. And it's like, man, God, who doesn't think differently than how they thought 10 fucking years ago?
The problem is, all these people create rules that they themselves don't live by, but they think they'll never be attacked or canceled. Like, it's like, here's the thing, like, let's say these progressives or whatever had these standards that they live by or try to live by. You know what? I wouldn't be as hard on them if that was the case. But a lot of these progressives have these standards that they themselves don't live by or even think about most of the time, but they enforce on everyone else.
Yep.
That's my problem. Like, create a standard you yourself live by or try to live by. Don't create standards that everyone else has to live by except you.
Right, and that's always been my push. I've always pushed that is, you know, and that's
live your principles or try.
Exactly, everything you just said is something I've been pushing for years. Like, don't sit there and make fucking excuses for yourself as to why you do something, and then all of a sudden attack somebody that did the same exact thing as you. Like that, and that's like 90% of cancel culture. Like, they are a bunch of kids who have done stupid shit, and they were probably shunned for it. and now they're a part of a movement that does the same thing to others when it's an entire movement based on hypocrisy, and it's a joke, really. Like
And
that's why
it's a
I don't
movement
understand why
that
these
has
chicks are like giving them any credence at all. Like the e-thought shit. Like if you're a thought, if you're eho, like whatever, dude, live your fucking life. Don't let these fucking little 12-year-old basement dwelling warriors come after you. Like ignore them, block them. don't run away from it because you're validating what they're doing, and that's what makes the movement bigger.
Well, I guess, like I was
Isn't
saying
basing-
earlier, man, people who are comfortable and secure with their actions don't give a fuck if others don't approve of it.
Doesn't words like basement dweller and like there's something else you said before. They often uses the same words that like cancel culture use against people. Say, oh, they're just a bunch of basement dwellers living in their mom's basement.
Yeah, it's the same
Well-
shit. It's the same shit. It's like a nerd
most of
calling
these
another one a
Antifa
geek.
guys who
Like,
do this,
it's-
by the
it's
way,
dumb.
they live it. By the way, most of these Antifa guys who do this cancel culture stuff on Twitter live with their mom still.
They actually do.
I think
Yeah.
I know what I think I know what Antifa is, but what isn't?
No, but like here's the thing. I remember this one guy, Antifa guy. He went to jail, and not even kidding, he had to have his mom bail him out that he lives with. It's like, imagine being a mom and your son just is in jail because he punched some female Trump supporter. Imagine how you feel as a mom. Like, where did I fuck up?
Pretty
Antifa is short for anti-fascist, and it's the left wing. It's the militant arm of the left wing right now. It's all those
And they're-
black bloc people in bandanas and
Not black people like race, but like they wear
Yeah.
black and
all
that.
black clothes and
'Cause
covering
crazy
their faces.
enough, the amount of
Are they fat themselves?
yes, they're
Yes.
fascists. They
They are the
literally believe in
literal
communism.
definition of fascism.
No, but they're actual communists. Like 99% of Antifa are actual communists. That's why when like Joe Rogan tried defending Antifa a little bit of Andy No, he said like I'm sure some things I would agree with them. Like Joe, you're not a communist. I don't think Joe Rogan is really aware of that though, like what Antifa's actual beliefs are. So I
Well,
think
that's the thing. The mainstream
benefited
media
out.
does an awfully good job keeping the shit that they do under wraps, and I think that's part of the problem. Well, I know that's part of the problem because
These Antifa sounds like a bunch of immature children. that
oh,
don't
dude,
do
it's
what they
beyond. I
want,
mean,
so
it's
they
even,
feel fit.
dude, it's immature children with handguns basically because there have been so many fucking violent episodes, like the professor who whacked some dude with a bike lock and fucking all sorts of shit like that.
Hospitalized them
Yeah,
and expecting not to get in trouble
Or
for
when
consequences.
Berkeley damn near burned to the ground because Milo was going to speak at on campus. Like
I remember
straight
when
up
Antifa
violent
guys,
shit.
they talk about being pro woman and all that stuff, but this Antifa guy, he saw this woman wearing a MAGA hat and he punched her in the face, made her fall to the ground, and kept punching until people carried him out. And it's
Yep.
like, dude, you're my ass, you're pro woman.
Well, certainly not pro
You mean-
women
you-
the way
you mean
they
a
claim they are.
So wait, so a bunch of people didn't stand around and start beating her too?
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
happens. That's what happened to Andy No. He was gang beat, and that's all the Antifa guys do, by the way. They fight in groups. They're like animals in a way, like wolves. They only fight in groups. If you get them alone, or if you get them like in an even fight, they'll run away usually. Like they're not that much of a.
Is their color theme just black or is it black and white?
Black and red, actually.
Oh, okay, if it's black and white, I say where'd they get their
It's black with the communist symbols and all that stuff.
Yes, it is. Oh, there's
And
no
it's because
communism.
Andy No has so much good reporting on Antifa. It's almost stunning, I guess you can say.
That's because they allow themselves to get busted on every stupid thing they do.
Like they're not very discreet. It's like, man, it's like not even the alt writers are this aggressive. Like Jesus.
You're not wrong.
Allied precision airstrike incoming. Beware. Enemy care package inbound.
Bruh.
Like how you went from Lala to Antifa.
Hey man, this is game talk. We talk
Bro.
about everything.
Hey, Blue, Blue, here's one for you, dog.
Enemy at the hotel. We're on Alpha. Stand by.
That's one free.
Here you go. Watch that one, dog.
By the way, a lot of these Antifa guys. Imagine if people who are right wingers just start bringing guns to these rallies.
Oh, that's gonna be the end. That's the thing. The only thing keeping Antifa alive is the discretion
Kindness.
and kindness of not Antifa people. Like,
Because
oh, man.
imagine
That's why they don't
if
do
like
these rallies in Texas or fucking any other state that permits open or concealed carry.
Dude,
That's
like,
why there was zero violence at was it Cleveland, Ohio? I think was the
you should
one that
like
was
disguise yourself as an Antifa, go on the website. We should all go to Texas protest.
Crowder already did it. Crowder already
Crowder-
did that.
he did
he
a thing about
infiltrated-
undercover Berkeley. They literally were gonna kill Ben Shapiro and say he was dangerous. Like Ben Shapiro, like the 5'9" Jew. Yeah, guys, dangerous. You got him.
Who did
yeah,
that
it
thing
was-
that with Texas?
It was not Texas, but Steven Crowder infiltrated Antifa.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah.
did some very good work on. They were
Yeah,
gonna try
and
to
they
kill
were-
Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, they were handing out weapons. They were talking a whole bunch of game. Like they were gonna hurt people. Yeah, it was nuts, man. Like the FBI.
None of it
was
ever happened
very...
because
No, yeah, because they're
Can
fucking
you like
Antifa.
compare them? Can you like compare the Antifa to the KKK kind of?
Almost.
Is that?
I mean, almost, but at least the KKK had a consistent movement where they didn't eat each other alive, versus Antifa that eat each other
I
I knew you
mean,
were gonna say that.
You're not wrong.
At least the KKK protected their own, versus Antifa where like if
Did
they
you
like
defend the KKK?
Right?
yes,
Exactly.
dude, definitely racist. I'm
Bro,
part of the
like,
Klans
remember
myself.
that? Remember we covered that, didn't we? Yeah, it was an episode where like an Antifa member attacks another Antifa member for being
Antifa.
not Antifa enough or some shit like that, right, Pete?
Yep.
Like,
My
I
personal
was
favorite
like,
story
dog.
where 4 Antifa guys found 4 other Antifa guys and got into a fight with them because they thought they were on different teams.
Well,
There you go.
same with what's his face? Shallow Bluff or whatever.
Shia LaBeouf.
Shallow buff. Yeah.
He actually attacked one of his supporters because he thought the supporter was mocking him.
Because 4chan trolled the
what?
fuck out of him.
Yeah.
I'll still
And
call
he
that.
punches this guy. Like, he literally just knocks him out. And the guy was like, I thought we were standing together and something. I was like,
I thought he would
oh,
revive
poor guy.
Man, I think that 4chan rally I think is probably the most important event in our political history. That's where the internet got fully weaponized by 4chan. It was great.
You're not wrong. Man, best capture the flag game ever. Play of the game 4chan, man. I mean, what else can you say about that shit?
Yeah, but it's kind of crazy because like these Antifa guys, their movement is not stable. Like they'll actually turn on each other whenever they get the chance because it's a movement like that are always trying to one up each other. So a movement that's always trying to one up each other is eventually gonna eat their own.
They're a group of thugs. They are.
Yeah, basically.
I wouldn't say thugs. At least thugs have loyalty of some kind.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, at least people in jail have some kind of a loyalty. You know what I mean?
Yes.
These people don't have loyalty to each other. They're like, we're comrade, but it's like, are you sure you're comrade, or are you just like waiting to kill one another eventually?
Well, that's the
Yeah.
whole thing, right? They're all comrades, but eventually they have to prove that they're more comradely than the other comrades. Because how else are you gonna get brownie points?
Can we compare them to ISIS? Or
No,
something?
I
the
don't-
problem is you can't, because ISIS at least they protect their own, dude. It's like you'll never see ISIS kill their own fellow jihadists.
Well, no, you
unless they're
will,
a
but it's
traitor.
pretty strict rules about what it is.
Versus
but-
Antifa, they're always trying to out one up each other, and that's why their movement will eventually fall apart because it's like it's not stable. They're not on stable grounds by any stretch.
Yeah, but the problem is, will it happen fast enough? And I don't think it will.
I think it's a slow burn. It's a very slow burn. That's gonna be eventually a lot of these Antifa guys are gonna be like, fuck, I don't like this. I don't like getting turned on. And it's like, oh, it's too late. I'm already in the fire and the door is closed.
Have they planted explosives before?
Nope, I don't think
I
about
think there was an
that. They've
attempt.
thrown firecrackers. They've thrown firecrackers at people.
Like, how
I
long
think
do you
there
think
was
it's
an
been when they start
attempt.
planning? The what attempt to plant a bomb?
Kind of. The problem is Antifa's incompetent as a movement. They literally attacked people with bricks and failed to kill them. And I'm like, dude, what?
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
mean, it's true.
Like
It's
Crowder
pretty
said, the only
sad.
reason they haven't killed anyone is because they're so
Because they're
incompetent.
incompetent. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not for lack of trying with lethal weapons. That's for damn sure. There's been a ton.
Well, like it doesn't help that like the majority of them are very mentally disabled. Like a lot of them are high functioning autism. There's a lot of low functioning in there. So like
Low functioning.
they definitely have a lot of low functioning. And I'm not trying to be mean, but it's true. Like you look at some of those interviews of those people, dude, it's like they can barely put two sentences together
Also, they're
in
all white.
English, dog. Like I'm like, wait, he's an Antifa member, and I started noticing a pattern. Like it's just they do feel a certain way, and they're encouraged to act out their
their
fucking
fellow
problems, and they go against people, yeah, and that's why nothing big has ever come from them is because they're literally sporadic. That's why they attack each other, dog. Like what, dude?
It's a movement not on stable grounds. Like that's like I joke about that, like them being incompetent, not on stable grounds, but that is factually true.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we've been going for almost 2.5 hours. I think it's about time we wrap up.
Oh,
Anybody else
no.
got any final thoughts?
Nah, I'm good.
I want to
bro.
apologize for being so quiet. I didn't know how to contribute to a lot of the conversation here.
That's cool,
It's
man.
okay.
No worries.
No,
I enjoy.
I enjoyed
um,
being here, though. I really did.
I
Fucking
enjoyed
A.
talking about Antifa to a degree.
Well, all right then. Thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace the fuck out.